All right, guys, before we get into this podcast with Andrew Tate, go to the App Store right now, download the PrizePick app, use code Bradley when you download the app, and they're going to give you $50 in your first $5 lineup. NFL playoffs is in full swing. If you guys want to put a little sweat on the game, that's the way I like to do it. If you guys want to do it, go there right now. Very easy. You just more or less on players, all different stat lines. You can see like what they've done previously, so it might be easy for you to make like the picks that are right for you. But if you guys do any fantasy, this is the place to do it. Go to PrizePicks right now. Use code Bradley. Also, you can go on the PrizePick app and tail my picks. If you just check out at Bradley Martin on the PrizePick app, you can follow me directly. I love you guys. Let's get into this podcast with Tate. He's got a lot to say, so make sure you guys are paying attention. Well, bro, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on. I've been wanting to have you on my show for like years at this point.
Yeah, it's been, I see the clips everywhere, but it just never aligned. And now I'm in LA, but I know what my life's like. And at any random moment, I can get snatched from LA. Yeah. So I thought, let's do it. So what is it, 1 a.m, something like that?
Yeah. Yeah, you're a beast for that. Dude, so what the has been going on? It's like Kanye and HH gate. Like, what's going on with all this?
Yeah, it's gay.
Yeah.
It's gay and retarded.
Yeah.
Like a song was played in a nightclub, and it's almost like, a second genocide. It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's thoroughly ridiculous. Truthfully, it's ridiculous.
Why do you think you're getting so much pushback? Like the internet seems to think you've like capitulated to just the whole situation.
I didn't. I just said I didn't play the song because I didn't play the song. The internet now has become so anti-Semitic that even if you believe that the Jews have too much control over the American government, you're starting to think, I may as well just join the fucking Jews now because everything you do makes you a Jew sellout somehow. I don't know if you get this, but like if you breathe air, the Jews also breathe air. So you've sold out to the Jews. Yeah. It's like you can't fucking do anything.
Yeah.
I guess unless you walk around doing permanent Hail Hitler salutes and calling for the next extermination of every single Jewish person you see, or you want to fire up the gas chambers, they're constantly saying you sold out. And it's incredible because it's not just me. I see it to everybody with any kind of prominence or any kind of platform. They're like, you sold out, you sold out, you sold out. There's nothing you can type without someone calling you a Jewish sellout. It's weird.
Yeah.
So we've gone from one side of no one being aware of the problem through the Enlightenment where people are aware of the problem to the other side of total retardation.
Yeah.
And now you see posts, even Nick Fuentes did this. Nick Fuentes said there's anti-Semites or low IQ anti-Semites, he calls them, where they're blaming the ICE protests. No, they're saying that the ICE guy shot the woman who tried to run him over because he saw her as a Palestinian because Jews have convinced the ICE officer that human life, like, it's just like, what the are these tedious bullshit links?
Or he was trained by the IDF. You see that one too.
It's at the point now where, I mean, if I was to be a conspiracy theorist, I would argue that the Israel lobby or the people who are in charge of ADL, et cetera, they've realized they can't stop the anti-Semitism. So they're using bots to pump it up to such a level that it's ridiculous. It's agree and amplify. Have you ever spoke to a girl and she says, all you do is cheat on me? You're like, instead of saying, no, I don't, I take you out for dinner and I'm nice to you. What you say is, you're right. You're right. We've been together years and all I've done is cheat on you. It's all I do. I've never done anything else. All I do is cheat on you. You agree and amplify to make it look ridiculous. Yeah. And I'm starting to think now that this huge, ridiculous anti-Semitism bullshit now where you can't breathe without getting called a sellout to the Jews is actually, I think there's something else behind it that's going on. Because I don't know, unless you act like a retard, you seem to be accused of this same thing over and over again. It's really weird.
What do you think it is then? Like what? Like because I've said this many times. It seems as if almost like it's forced to this point, like as if they almost want the sort of conversation to be had to such a level. Because when you did this, when you didn't do the thing, but when you were a part of this whole thing, you've done tons of polarizing things, saying the hard R, fucking the F slur. It doesn't matter. You've said it all. But when this one happened, it's like, okay, now this is like a big problem. And you even said it on the PBD podcast. There's now pushback that like, if you get to that point of something that if you find the pushback, then maybe there's something there.
Of course. I mean, it shows that the fact that the mayor was alerted and concerned about a song being played in a nightclub, it shows that they clearly have more control over, or they certainly have more control over influencing public consciousness than other groups do. If you played a song about killing black people, they wouldn't give. So the fact that the song was praising a man who had died nearly 100 years ago and it got such a visceral reaction. I think that says a lot about how much control they have over society. But the reaction on the internet is also very, very strange. You know, there's so much I know about the world, and I try and condense complicated ideas, but the idea that certain type of comments or certain types of conversations are happening on the internet by accident is pretty asinine and ignorant. A lot of Twitter and a lot of the internet is actually now completely fake. It's not even real. Yeah. It's bots. And if you were in charge of trying to prevent a serious consciousness shift in terms of understanding the crimes committed or the influence had by Jews, then I think you would be agreeing and amplifying. And that's why I think nearly every single message on Twitter now has some degree of anti-Semitism in it. I think this is all fake. I don't think any of this is actually real. I mean, and I'm going to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do you agree that the ADL or Israel seem to have a larger percent of control than you'd expect them to have over the American government, considering they're a relatively small country?
It would seem that way.
It would seem that way.
Yeah.
So if a man walks into your gym and he says, "Hey man, I'm a huge fan. I'd like a picture." And you say, "Yeah, sure." And he goes, "Yeah, okay, thanks. Yeah, I'm from Israel." Are you going to attack him, or are you going to say, "Yeah, whatever," and just take a picture?
I would absolutely take a picture.
Of course. Because if you disagree with the government, it doesn't mean you hate every single person from that place. It doesn't mean you're going to become a violent psychopath.
Yeah.
You do understand that most of the internet now is going to tell you you're a sellout.
If you take that photo.
Of course.
Well, I mean, that's absurd.
That's the internet we live in now.
Yeah.
So I guess unless you walk around doing hail salutes, you're a sellout. So all these people saying, "You're a sellout. You should have sat there and done this and done that." It's really remarkable. I have criminal cases hanging over my head. That's hate speech. That's guaranteed prison time in my upcoming UK court case. Every single podcast I do is played back to me in court in front of a judge. These people are out of their minds to think I'm going to sit on a podcast and go, "Yeah, you know what? I meant it and I love it." So I can go to court and they could say, "Andrew Tate did this." And I say, "No, I didn't." And the prosecutor can play a video of me saying, "Yes, he loved it." How long do these people expect me to survive out in the real world? And of course they have nothing to lose, and they're all faceless accounts, or their children, or they're streamers with no real problems. But I don't even believe that any of this backlash is real. I think it's all artificial. I think there's something very strange going on. And for sure, the outrage is definitely artificial. That's being propagated by the people who are basically admitting that they have a lot more control over society than they should have.
Yeah.
I mean, they're admitting it. They're admitting it by the fact that there was such a visceral backlash.
Yeah.
So they just proved the point.
But that's the frustrating part is then you just sort of create more of the same. And it's like, are they trying to get away from it, or are they trying to create more of the same?
You know, it's such a strange scenario. It is
because I'm sorry to interrupt it. I just believe that they're trying to get back to the point of like actual censorship, like real censorship. Because you remember, I don't know how many years ago, but I remember when I first started making any content, literally 15 years ago now at this point, there was a few groups that you couldn't really criticize in a way. It was blacks, it was gays.
Yeah, we criticize them loads now.
Right. Blacks, gays, and then you always knew you don't talk about Jewish people.
Yeah.
And that was before any of this, October 7th, that was before any of this, like everyone.
It's because World War II is the religion. World War II is the story that we're all taught, which has shaped the modern world we live in. And it's the excuse for very important things which are happening in the world today, especially the decimation of white populations. World War II is the beginning. It's the origin story. It's the beginning of the religion of the Western world, of why nationalism is a bad thing, why believing in your country above other countries is a bad thing, why white people wanting a country for white people is a bad thing. There are so many important things which are simply being destroyed, being removed, even though the public consciousness want those things. And it's because of World War II. Yeah. World War II is the foundational story.
Can you play that clip that I brought up? There's just one clip. I don't really want to talk so much about this whole thing, but this one clip.
Yep.
You said that towards the end of this clip. This is when I don't know, it must have been when the song had first come out. You're sort of addressing the song, this guy's interview question, and then you said something really significant at the end. It's kind of going along the lines of what you're talking about now, but I wanted to play this for you real quick.
Suicide. It was the last thing that soldiers said before they got executed.
So you're basically talking about
all
like how
of the energy, all of the emotional potential that was forced into these words. And then the lid to the jar was closed because you weren't allowed to say it. Isn't this interesting? All of the people around the planet who were screaming those words with the most possible emotion attached that a human can do. And then all of that energy was put inside of a jar. And after the end of the war, you can't say those words. And it was stored. Or people are saying online, he made this song and it's so anti-Semitic, but why is it so catchy? Why is it so catchy? Why is it so catchy? Because he's opened the jar where 80, 90, 100 years ago, millions of people around the world were screaming energy into this exact saying. And it was all canned until Kanye released it. Where that leads, where that goes, and that's an interesting conversation.
Pause it
the
real
true
quick.
history of World War. Yeah, so we have to understand very quickly that the true history of World War II and World War II in and of itself is the basic reasoning for why you can't have in the West the things you actually want, which is a country which is for you and for your people and for you to put your country first and you being prepared to defend it. Because the idea is that if you're a nationalistic country, especially if you're a white nationalistic country, you're going to kill a bunch of people. You're going to kill a bunch of Jews. If you sit and say, well, the Holocaust didn't happen that way, or less people died in the Holocaust than they're saying, if you say those things, then you're saying, well, that means I can have a country with a strong border for white people. And they don't want that. So World War II is the story. It's the religion for the modern world we live in, full of lies. The real story of World War II, nobody is taught. And of course, that is why anti-Semitism is the ultimate sin. It's the ultimate crime. Because it's not because you're insulting Jewish people. It's because you're attacking the New World Order and the order of things. But if you insult black people, that doesn't happen. Nobody cares. This is the difference. This is why you're saying we've always known you couldn't do that.
Yeah.
And now, I guess, the lid is off. The hail, I just said it, but the lid is off with the song. And also the lid is off with a lot of people understanding the truth of World War II and the truth of power structures in the world. And a lot of that was down to October 7th and Israel's actions, which, you know, they broadcast a genocide in front of the entire world, which was disgusting.
Yeah.
So now what do you do if you're on the Israel side? Well, you can't really put the lid back on. So maybe you can just add in so much bullshit and agree and amplify and spew so much low IQ, stupid takes. If you're like, well, if every smart person is going to be anti-Semitic, let's just pump out so many bots saying so many stupid anti-Semitic things that it loses all value. And the pendulum can just swing the other way now. And now there's just so much stupid garbage all around the world. So it's just a show. Like, it's a mess either way.
But so you think the whole point was to get sort of to remove people's ability to feel like a sense of, you know, an actual white country in America.
Correct. The reason that World War II and the story of World War II is told as gospel is because it prevents people from being nationalistic, specifically white people. Because if you're a white person who loves his country, what do they call you? A Nazi. And what did the Nazis do? The Holocaust.
Yeah.
So if the Holocaust isn't real, then being a Nazi, what does that even mean? It means I love my country. Who cares? It doesn't matter. So the Holocaust has to be real, so that Nazi is a threat, so that you don't love your country, and so that white people agree to go extinct. Because white people are currently going extinct.
Right.
And you're going to be gone in less than 50 years. And you have to accept that because of World War II and what happened. That's the official story. That's the first reason for that. And also, being perfectly honest with you, as for this ridiculous club event, I don't think it's gone viral organically, to be honest with you. I think that if I wasn't there, it wouldn't have gone viral. I think if Myron, Clav, Nick, and the other guy all stood there in the club and played that song, nobody would give it. I would argue they've done it many times before. They play it on their streams all the time. Nobody cares. It only went viral because I was there. And I don't think that's organic. I think that there is an extremely orchestrated campaign designed to make sure that my influence never reaches the level it was previously. I have criminal cases in many countries around the world to believe that the constant, endless smear of me in the media is somehow organic and not an intelligence campaign is ignorance. And this video was deliberately pushed to damage my ability to defend myself in court.
Yeah.
That's what I believe. They said, Andrew Tate is there. Let's look at the easy wins. One of the biggest people complaining on the TV is a Jewish nightclub owner. So he wants his opponent's nightclub shut down. That's an easy win. Let's look at the fact I have trial coming up in the UK. And if you say anything hateful, it has no free speech. So hate speech is an instant, quick, easy, bam, jail sentence.
Yeah.
That's an easy win. Like, this is an easy win for very powerful people to go, let's make this video big. And I didn't even complain that the song came on. I just stood there. I was like, oh, whatever. But I knew what was going to happen. I was like, this is ridiculous. Is it worth it?
Yeah.
But, you know, kids with streams, they need clicks. It's like grabbing your hat. They're children, bro.
Yeah.
They're just children and they'll do anything for clicks.
Yeah.
No, you know, they're kids.
Yeah.
They're retards and they're not adults with responsibility and things going on. So it is what it is. But it is truly crazy it got so big. But I don't believe it's organic that it got so big. I think it's been pushed on purpose.
At one point, to be fair, at one point, wouldn't you say that you did a lot of content was just for clicks and stuff as well?
I mean, you try and be entertaining.
Yeah.
I think that there's a fine line to walk because if you don't give a shit about clicks, then no one's going to watch. If you don't try and be entertaining, then no one's going to watch. Outrage can be entertaining. So you have to walk the line between outrage and value and truth. I guess I was lucky when I first got famous. I feel like I was in a good position because the truth was the outrage. I could say the truth about being a man and the truth about being a woman, and the world was so cucked and we were so heavily censored that it was the outrage. I could tell the truth about COVID and it was the outrage. But now so much of the truth is actually out there that telling the truth isn't outrageous anymore. So now you got to find a new outrage.
Yeah. So
we go for racism and edgelording and all these crazy things to try and make people go, wow, he said that. But back in my day, I sound like an old man now, 3-4 years ago when I was really big, you know, the things that made national news 4 years ago when I said women couldn't drive, nobody would give a single now if you said that.
Yeah.
The Overton window shifted.
Yeah.
So I guess it's getting more and more extreme. I remember during the height of meme coins, people were setting themselves on fire and pump meme coins. Like the world's gone pretty crazy. Yeah. Everyone's got ADHD. Everyone's lost their ability to focus on anything. People are constantly, their brains are all over the place. To get someone's attention is harder than ever.
Yeah.
You know, so more and more outrageous things have to happen. But unfortunately, at a certain level of notoriety, these outrageous things on the internet have real world consequences. If you were standing there in my place, they could easily, if they decided to, blow that video up and cause your gym, the physical location of your gym, a whole bunch of problems.
Yeah.
Your landlord might be Jewish. Or he might just not want the press hammering him. He might just get pressure. You don't know.
Yeah.
And even if you own the place, who knows what? The mayor, the data. If you have real world, it's amazing what can happen because someone next to you thinks it's funny to get clicks.
Well, it sounds like because you have a case, you still have a case in the UK, and in the UK, there's this like they have actual laws for hate speech.
Right.
And they would just consider anything and be like, look at this, see this here, he broke this, and therefore.
Yeah, they'll put me in front of a Jewish judge and destroy me. I mean, it's pretty simple. I think they're going to do that anyway. I think my upcoming case in the UK is with a Jewish judge, and they're going to say, look at this clip here. And I'm going to say, I didn't play the song. And they're going to say, well, why did you stand with those clowns? And I'm going to say, but I didn't play the song. And the judge is going to say, whatever, it's 10 years, enjoy. And what am I going to do?
Do you think that's going to happen?
Yeah. 100%. Like, but what the am I supposed to do when the song comes on? Run away?
Yeah.
Like the song comes on and my brain analyzes the scenario and I'm like, oh, for sake. And then I think, you know what? Maybe no one will care.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the clip comes out and then I'm like, well, the song's been played by so many people so many times. I've discussed it on other podcasts. No one seems to care. What's the big deal? And then all these bots start posting under the video to pump it. And I'm like, what bot farm is being paid to blow up this video? And then I sit there and then maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist, but after going through the 4 years I've been through and I've seen how bots shape narratives and I've seen how, the media is desperate to get hold of me. The fact that I know my criminal case in Romania was started by the British Foreign Office at the behest of MI6 because I was deemed a national security threat. So there's already been an intelligence operation against me, verified, documented in paper. They said in 2023, the British government said he has so much control over the masculine youth that he's an unchecked source of influence. They believe that I could literally name a place and a time and a date and burn the whole country down. And to be honest with you, they weren't far wrong in 2022. I got to say, guys, enough's enough. So let's fight the Matrix. See you in Central London, 8 p.m. It would have been a show. So I was deemed a national security threat, which is why they wrote to the Romanians and said, this guy is unchecked. Do something. Lock him up or we're going to extradite him. He's out of control. So all of this is documented. I have paperwork for this.
Yeah.
So for me now to sit here and believe, and I don't want to be paranoid and I don't want to be narcissistic, but for me to believe that the system knows I have an upcoming case in front of a Jewish judge, and now this video has come on because some dip played a song, and for some reason the whole world gives a about this nightclub thing. Is this organic? I don't, it just feels weird to me. I'm just sitting there like, what the is going on? I stood in the corner. I didn't even sing it.
Yeah. It's also interesting how you get the sort of pushback that you do. I think it's also because everyone else who was there as well. But the thing that I find so interesting is like, you're in this position, obviously, because of your influence.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would definitely argue at one point you had so much influence. Not that you don't have as much now, but it's also funny to see the comments where people will say, "Oh, he's a psyop from like the other side, like he's trying to destroy the family thing." Which there's some funny things I can make about that, some points about like the misogynistic stuff, but they'll say that about you. And I remember when I first met you, I had a conversation probably for like 2-3 hours after we did a podcast, and obviously I never got that vibe, never got it once being around you. But the thing that's funny is that now you're in this position. Right, like currently knowing that you have this case coming up.
Yeah.
I just wonder, how does it flip flop if you do what you just said, if you actually go to jail for X amount of time in the cases you're talking about?
Yeah, people
they'll flip flop and go, wait, no, maybe he wasn't.
I think people just won't give a.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, when I first got arrested at the height of my influence, it was the perfect storm to actually make me more influential for a few reasons. And one of them was that I predicted and saw it coming. And one day, when I tell the full 2-hour story of what happened to me with the paperwork and show you how corrupt this world is and show you how literally Five Eyes intelligence agencies will just call a country and say, deal with this guy, and how the legal system's all made up and how the judges are bought. When I show all the receipts head to toe on a video, which I'm going to do, and if they put a bullet in my neck, it's already made, it's going to come out. When I explain how everything is, I knew what was coming, and I kept saying they're going to arrest me. And then I got arrested in Romania. And then the charges are so outlandish. Human trafficking. It sounds so crazy. And I was the most Googled man in the world at the time. So it was almost like a perfect storm to put to make me more popular in some ways, although I suffered for it. But now if I get locked up, they're just going to say, oh, yeah, he sold out to the Jews anyway. And everyone's going to talk about it for 5 minutes. And then they're going to continue with their lives. So the people who watch these things on the internet, because they're so desperately chasing outrage and dopamine, they want you to set yourself on fire and martyr yourself and destroy your life and never see your kids again for their entertainment. They don't even give a shit about the cause or the message anymore. They just want to be entertained. Yeah. People at home, they want people to steal your hat because they just want to see a fight. They're just like feral animals. Nobody actually sits there and is locked into the mission anymore. I even think all this bull anti-Semitism on the internet is actually helping the Jews. No one's locked into the mission. No one's trying to wake people up to the truth and the reality of how this world works. And if you do, you're a sellout somehow. I said on another podcast, I said, listen, perhaps the Jews are in charge of everything, but you need to not cope and use that as an excuse to fail. There's not a single Jew that stops you going to the gym.
Yeah.
If you're skinny and you're weak, it's your fault. And if you type that, you're a sellout to the Jews, and they're going to tell you that's not true, that the Jews have psyoped everyone, and they're psyoped, and there's no point going to the gym because women only want money. And they're just going to write a whole bunch, call you a sellout.
Yeah.
And it's like, you guys have been so heavily wrecked mentally. It's
all
embarrassing.
Nuance is gone.
Of course, all the nuance is gone. Completely. They've left from one jail, which is ignorance, not understanding anything about the real world, through the reality of life, into another jail of I can't do anything about it. It's all the Jews, and anyone who says that I have personal responsibility and accountability is a sellout. Like, they've just gone from one jail to another.
Yeah.
So the whole world's lost its mind. And if I went to jail now at this point, I don't think many people would actually give it. I think I'd rot in jail for a pretty long time. And I think they'd just sit there and go, oh yeah, whatever. He was a sellout anyway, or some bullshit. Move on to the next thing. I think the world's actually changed so much more than we can realize because it's quite gradual in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
You know, when like things happen slowly, you don't notice. In the last 5 years, the world's actually completely changed. Think about back to COVID times. You couldn't say anything about women, couldn't say anything about black people, couldn't be racist. Everyone got their accounts deleted for all.
Oh
like
my God,
it was
bro.
crazy. And now we're all on the internet.
You didn't post a black square. They're like, you're racist.
You write N. You got account delete N.
Yeah.
I. Remember that?
Yeah.
G. I typed G and lost my account.
Yeah.
Like now you can.
Bro, I was on my buddy Sugar Sean. I was like, yo, you're an animal.
Yeah.
And it was like, this is like racist or bad behavior. I was like, what the? I'm talking about a fighter.
You couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And now you can be fully racist on Twitter, you know, for better or for worse. So the world has changed so much now. I just feel like if they lock me up, no one's going to give a. And I have to give credit as much as I'm upset that they've done this to me, I have to give credit to my enemy, because my enemy has a weapon, which is time. It just ties you up in the system. It slowly grinds you down. It continues to lie about you. It continues to slander you every day. They pick away at your psyche. They pick away at your brand and your reputation. They use bot farms. They shape narratives. They have all the time in the world. You're on bail anyway, in and out of court, wasting money, going to jail, getting out of jail, paying lawyers, trying to convince a judge. Like, they just attack. And also the shock factor of, whoa, what the f-? They arrested Andrew Tate is long gone.
Yeah.
And they're just sitting there going, we'll get him 2 years from now, 3 years. Time's on their side. What can you do, bro?
It's a lot of it just feels forced at this point.
It's super forced. I hate to interrupt. It is mega forced, bro. Anytime I do anything, I can't take a piss without a mental breakdown on the internet. It's bull. It's forced. This isn't real. It's all linked to my legal cases and trying to make sure that I don't win them. None of this is accidental. And my legal cases are forced too. They just keep printing new pieces of paper, bullshit accusations with no real evidence. They don't give a that it's never going to go anywhere. It drags me through the process. I have to hire a lawyer, go to court, defend myself, deal with all the media slander, continue to fight it all the way to the end, and they just print a new piece of paper and wreck me.
Yeah.
I have this theory that a British prosecutor, because England's a toll, probably doesn't make more than $100,000 a year. And the British taxes are around 50%. So if they can get an idiot prosecutor to type up a lie for $100,000 a year, and I have to pay my legal team $5 million to defend myself, and they get 50% of that in tax revenue. So they benefit 2.4M. The British state gets rich off this. Yeah. I'm paying legal fees out. My lawyer has to pay 50% because he's a lawyer. He's a good lawyer. He's going to pay taxes. Their prosecutors effectively free, and they just get to print out pieces of paper. Andrew Tate is a hateful person. Here's a tweet he did that's hateful. Andrew Tate is a hateful person. He stood next to children in a nightclub one day. Here's ... We believe, defend yourself. And I'm just getting wrecked, and it won't end. It's like, it's really quite remarkable. You know, you wake up every day and there's just some new bullshit lie. And I actually wonder why, when it's clear I'm not going to incite this riot they're afraid of, they're not going to stop. But I guess they've just decided they're going to keep going till I'm gone, I guess.
Yeah. Have you got, there's this other sort of narrative. Have you gotten help from the current administration?
If I had help from the current administration, I wouldn't still be on bail in Romania. What actually happened is, and I need to tell this whole story, it's a 2-hour story one day on a long podcast with the paperwork, but the short version is that my case was actually dismissed under Joe Biden in 2023 of December. They threw my whole case out due to lack of evidence. So they locked me in jail, locked me in my house, prevented me from seeing my mother when she had a heart attack, prevented me from seeing my kids, stole all my money, stole all my cars, stole all my wealth, raided my house 4 times. They did all of that. And then when they put the file to a judge said, there's no evidence in here. You've accused him of crimes, but there's no evidence. They've just typed up what they think I've done. Where's the proof? There's no proof. And threw the entire case out. So they did all of that for no reason.
That's the same thing happened with COVID.
Yeah.
Well, kept the gym open.
Crazy. Yeah. And then in the Romanian system, that means that the file goes back to the prosecutor. So now it's on the prosecutor's desk. It's been on the prosecutor's desk for 1.5 years and nothing's changed. But I'm the first person in Romanian history that, although my case has been thrown out, I remain on bail. But they did give me my passport back. So they threw my case out in December. In February, they said, here's your passport, but you still have to check in. You have to still go to Romania to check in. To this day, that's true. If I don't go check in, it's Interpol red. Here's your passport, go away. Is the fact that Trump was president the reason I got my passport back? I think yes. I don't think he did anything. I think the Romanians just got scared to keep us there without a case in the system. And we're American citizens. And now Trump's in charge. They're probably like, oh, they're going to realize that, you know, the American embassy is going to start to give up. Because before that, I was calling the American embassy and they didn't care.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, whatever. Don't care. And then Trump won. I called the embassy. They're like, what the f-? Okay, let me ask around. America's back, bro. Like before Trump, America was gone. You know this better than me. There was no America. So the Romanians were like, well, let's f him. But then Trump came and like, oh, he's a real American again. America's back. Well, then let him go. I don't think he actually helped me in regards to, you know, calling the Romanians or anything crazy like that. So that's the situation I'm currently in. That's the predicament. I've got bail in Romania. I've got an extradition hanging over my head with the UK. I've got 3 or 4 cases in the UK, and still got these 32 charges sitting on a prosecutor's desk that were thrown out due to lack of evidence in Romania. It's just a show.
Yeah, it's crazy. I want to take it back to kind of like where you really came from, because I know a lot about you. I've seen a lot of content, but what were you like in your early 20s? Like, because I know didn't you do some like Big Brother kind of?
Yeah, I did some stupid reality TV.
Some rap
TV
stuff too.
Yeah, I was around. But you know what? I think the world was more fun back then.
Yeah.
I was about to say, you know, when you said what were you like back in your 20s, I was about to say happier as a joke. But truthfully, actually, yes. I don't think it's because I've changed. I think the world's changed.
Yeah, entirely.
I think the world was so much more fun back then.
Yeah.
And when I think about what I did, that's what makes it so difficult, because you sit and think, well, the world was more fun. What was I doing that was more fun? And it wasn't that I was doing anything. There was just electricity in the air. There was positive organs in the air that I really believe died in COVID. COVID changed the code of the simulation, and I've been bored ever since. Is it just me? Where like nothing's been real since COVID? It's like, what the?
Yeah, it's
I haven't had real fun since literally before COVID. It was really weird. The world was a different place. And I don't know if it's because we're all living under constant surveillance from each other, or we're all obsessed with social media, or we're all permanently distracted, or we all know too much. I don't know what it is, but I miss the old world.
I think it's the constant dopamine hits, like that whether you get from like social media interactions or just like, you know, looking at what your life should or shouldn't be. Like you're just constant sort of searching outside of yourself for everything.
Yeah, you're constantly either thinking about the past or concerned about the future, or looking at someone else's life wishing you had it, or concerned about some event in the world, or feeling sad about Gaza, or having your brain's all over the place now. It's like I think you're completely right. Back then you used to go on a night out and have the best time of your life and not take a single picture.
Yeah.
And that's how you knew it was great. You didn't even touch your phone. Now I can't get through a movie. I can't get through a book. I have to touch I always end up reaching for my phone.
Yeah.
So yeah, the world's a completely different place. So it's actually kind of hard for me to answer what I was like, because I don't know what that person would be like in this world, or what I am now would be like in that world. The world was so different. I really think that we're living in a period of time where we're going to experience so many different versions of reality. If you were born in the year 1709 and you died in 1769, I don't think your world changed that much. But I think our world is changing crazy.
Yeah.
Don't you remember? I remember the first time I had Wi-Fi on a plane.
Yeah.
Now I expect, and I better have.
Yeah.
And it better be fast. Why is it not loading? Why is it not loading? Like, where's my quick Wi-Fi? I'm trying to watch YouTube. This is trash.
That's so funny.
I remember the first time I spoke to ChatGPT, I was like, what the this is a machine.
But that's a whole, so what's happening is humans are not supposed to be existing like that. We are existing how we normally exist, but with technology this is not a normal human thing.
Of course.
And I think it's like literally the melding of like computer and human.
Yeah.
And then slowly going through that.
Completely. It's only a matter of time till we all have Neuralinks in our brain and we're not allowed to think certain thoughts or go certain places. And the ChatGPT corrects us when we try and talk. It's only a matter of time till we're literally cyborgs and we are part of the Matrix. Yeah. The Borg from Star Trek is coming for all of us. Yeah. We will be assimilated. There is no escape. And I'm just saying that we're living in our short lives. I think we're around the same age. These 60, 70 years, whatever we get, we're going to watch AI. We're watching the first mobile phone. I didn't have a mobile phone when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
Think how fast we're used to mobile phones now. Like it's nothing. Think of think how crazy that is. So the world's just changing so much. And I don't know, like it happened slow enough for us to not really notice and not really think about, but it's actually so drastically crazy. Yeah. Like I can't imagine. I don't know how people go to school anymore. How do they teach lessons or do exams or test or quiz anyone with phones and ChatGPT and AI?
I mean, bro, I have employees that straight up do use ChatGPT for everything.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, and also like I know people who use ChatGPT to even try to talk to women.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, of course. They test the conversation in there. Or I know people very well. In fact, a couple of my girlfriends, exactly this. They've got ChatGPT, and it's not just ChatGPT because they've said, hey, you're going to be my best friend forever. I want you to talk to me in this tone. I want you to use emojis. I want you to be a 29-year-old female who has a very high IQ and a good understanding of sociodynamics. I want you to explain things to me in a sharp and succinct way. Like they've built these people that they're talking to? I catch one of my girls. She keeps calling it she, and it pisses me off. Well, she said, I'm like, stop calling it she.
No, there's no way you're kidding. There's no way.
100%. I'm like, call it it. It's a machine. Stop calling it she. And she's like, what's the big deal? Like, women usher in all of the bad things that happened in society forever. Women ushered in LGBT. They usher in abortion. They usher in open borders. Every single idea you can think of, women usher it in. And women are going to usher in us normalizing these machines being considered people. It's crazy.
I mean, we're becoming less human. That's what's happening.
Of course we are. And we don't trust our own thoughts, or we don't want to use our own thoughts because we have this machine there. And it's just a matter of time. The real question is now, the people in charge of the world, how are they adjusting the machine's replies to control what we all think and act and do?
Right.
Because that's what they're going to end up doing. They already do that with algorithms. They try and decide, what do we want him to think? So and we know they do this because they do it primarily to sell you things.
100%.
I want Bradley to think this way because I want him to buy this thing.
That's indisputable.
Of course.
Yeah.
So if you remove the buy this thing, I want Bradley to think this way so that Bradley doesn't do this. Or Bradley does do this.
Yes.
That's exactly the situation we're in. And they're doing it also with AI. So it's actually very scary, the world we're living in. And I can't imagine, like I said earlier, I went to school, I read information in a book, and I got quizzed. But now you just chat GPT the answers, or you Google the answers on your phone.
Yeah.
Or like, what's the point of a math class? A calculator's in your pocket. My teacher used to literally say to me, you're not going to walk around with a calculator in your pocket. And I do. Like,
man.
Bro, how do you even go to school now?
Yeah.
Like, you go to school and they say, what? Hi, guys, ask ChatGPT about this. Is that school?
Yeah. I mean, I have complete lost faith in the whole school system.
I don't know how it works. It's clearly bull. Like, is everything bull? And the barrier to success in life for such a long period of time was not only agency and energy, but it was also information. You had to know things and know what to do, or find somebody who did know what to do to get it done. But now information has lost all value. Information is now free. If you want,
or it's just not even real. Like that's the scary part.
Or it's bull.
Yeah,
that's right. So, we've entered this really brand new age. It's super weird, where anybody can know anything all the time, and they can all know it for effectively free. So how do you differentiate between the successful and the unsuccessful? Well, I would argue it's agency and energy to apply things, but it's still a really weird, strange situation. If I wanted to start one of the world's most complicated companies, I can literally ask the AI, I want to start a legal practice. I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah.
How? I don't tell you how to do it.
Yeah.
It's incredible. I might do that. I could defend myself.
How do
I
defend myself?
Yeah. It's the world's crazy.
So where do you think it goes? Because I mean, it does really just seem like we're becoming less human. It's going to turn into this like complete reliance on the technology, because that's kind of what the first, the iPhone kind of became, and then it knows where you are, knows what you like, and knows what you do, and knows everything about you essentially. And then they use that information to either sell. Sounds like they're going to start using information to sort of coerce you into sort of whether left or right political opinions. It's happening. Where do you think it all goes?
Well, it leads to the same place that the government have been trying to lead us to ever since the beginning. I mean, every single day they pass new laws and they never take laws away. It's just going to be complete and total slavery. And they're going to force us to replace our freedom with the idea of safety. Like, I do believe there's a utopian future where there is no murder and there is no car theft and you can leave your door open. But the reason for that is because we're all connected to the grid. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And the version of reality that we believe in then, or the version of history that we're told, whether it's true or not, I have absolutely no idea. But I have a strong feeling they're going to exaggerate the problems of the past and convince us that we now need to live this way to prevent. I mean, let's give you a simple example. I've always thought this, and I don't know why I think it, but I've always thought in the future, when they solve the self-driving problem and cars never crash again, and you're born in the year 2200 and you're a kid and you're in school, and they're going to say, did you know that people used to drive their own cars? And you'd be like, no way.
Dude.
But how did people drive their own cars? They had a wheel and they'd use their eyes. And they'd be like, but what if they crashed? Then everyone would get mangled and die. And you'd be like, okay, and what if, even if you're paying attention, someone crashes into you? Yep, then you die. What if you're crazy? Or what if you fall asleep? Yeah, everyone in the car dies. And you're like, then how was anyone brave enough to even drive? It was just a crazy world back then. Luckily, we now have full self-driving. Mr. Elon Musk, the forever god, who's still alive on planet Mars. It's going to be like a movie. You're going to be sitting there like, it's going to be scary.
Yeah.
To us, it's normal to just drive the risks we take every day. But in the future, they're going to think it's insane we ever took these risks. And they're going to say that we can't possibly take these risks. You can't possibly have your freedom because it's not safe. And they're going to do that with absolutely everything. They already do it. COVID was to test. COVID was we take all your freedom and give you safety.
Yeah.
So they're going to take all of our freedom and give us safety. And the worst thing about that is that even me as a freedom fighter and somebody who sees this coming, I know it's going to work because even I decide to live in Dubai, which is the safest city in the world. Why? Because they have control of everything. But I don't want to live here because I might get robbed or shot. So it's right. So you're asking where it ends. It ends with absolute control for the people who want to rule the world.
Do you think it matters whether it's left or right?
I don't think there is left and right.
That's exactly what
I think. Yeah, I think there are pools of transnational capital, and I think that these large pools of money, their primary objective is to get more money. And if they can get more money by turning their money into money, even better, because, you know, that's the biggest scam on the planet. If I give you money and say, open a factory to make money, that's one thing. But if I give you money and say, turn your money into more money, and you just put your money in an account and it goes up without any work, well, you're not doing any work. But the reason it's gone up is because someone else has done work and you've stolen their work. That's effectively what's happened. Yeah. And these big pools of transnational capital are doing that. And let's make up a example. But let's pretend these huge pools of capital also had the ability to affect elections because they control all of the world's money and all of the world's media. And let's say they could long or short a currency in a very simple term. Obviously, it's more complicated than that, but let's keep it simple. And you could control who is elected in, let's say, a European nation, and you could short the euro, and you know the person who goes into office works for you, and it's his primary objective to make the euro crash, so he has to destroy his country. So he opens the border and lets in millions of people who don't belong there and doesn't lock up any of the criminals and sends all of the money to Ukraine and just the whole country against the wishes of every single person who lives there.
Sounds pretty similar to something.
Well, yeah. I mean,
interesting.
I mean, who the opens up their border to millions of unchecked migrants on accident? Who the sends away their entire national treasury of weapons and money to a corrupt country which is going to steal it all on accident? These people it's not an accident. Yeah. These people work for pools of transnational capital, and the transnational capital has bet on the decline of Europe, and they make money as Europe declines. If you're going to play roulette, black or red, and you can control the ball, you're going to make sure you fucking win. Yeah. Europe is committing suicide, mass suicide. America, not as bad because we have Trump, but still there are large, powerful entities in America which are trying to decline it. The Democrats have no problem destroying this place. They're doing it on purpose because they get rich doing it. They don't give a they're not destroying it purely because they're idealistic and evil. I think that's quite that's quite a optimistic mindset to sit and believe that the Democrats are just dumb. They're just dumb. No, they're not just dumb. The people who believe in them are dumb. But the Democrats themselves are actually very smart. And they're raping the system. And they're destroying the entire place. They're burning the house down so they can steal everything on their way out. That's exactly what they're doing. And that's what's happening in the world today. There is no left and right. There are pools of transnational capital which are trying to steal as much money as possible from the places that matter, which is the Western first world. And they have identified that it is white people who love their country, which is their primary enemy. It is white people, white nationalists, who are going to sit there and say, no, this is my country. You're not going to destroy it. So they have to make sure there's as few white people as possible. And the white people they do have are not nationalistic. So to do that, they take the World War II story and teach it as gospel. So there's no white nationalists. Even the idea of being called a white nationalist is an insult. If I say you're a black nationalist, you say, yeah, I'm black and I love Ghana. Cool. Yeah. You're a white nationalist. I'm white and I love America. Why is that a problem? But they've psyoped the world. And I'm mixed race. I'm a brown guy. White nationalists may hate me. I'm just pointing out what's actually happening. Yeah. Because there's white people who sit there and go, wait, my ancestors lived here. My granddad died for this country. I don't want to leave. And I can tell you're stealing from me. Whereas if you bring in a whole bunch of third world migrants, one, they don't give a if you're stealing because they're from countries where everyone steals. Two, they don't notice you're stealing because they can't understand the TV. They just come here to work like slaves and live like peasants with no health care. So who do you want to steal? If you're going to steal from a nation, who do you want in the nation? You want retards to steal from.
Yeah.
So it's pretty simple what's going on. So, this whole left versus right debate, from my experience, I think the world is actually simpler. And I think that in every single exchange, somebody's getting... A lot of the Western world is built off of other countries. Let's not pretend that's not the case.
Right.
We've screwed over a whole bunch of other countries. And I'm not saying that in some stick up for third world way. I'm saying that, if you print the dollars and a country discovers uranium, you get their uranium for printed money.
Yeah.
Give me your real... Thanks. Here, take these. We don't take those. You don't take the dollar? Army. Blow him up, replace. Here, you take dollars? That's the game, right?
Yeah.
So we've been raping the other countries for so long. And my theory is that there is a much larger return now. America, because it prints the money, is different. But Europe, for example, the elites of Europe have realized instead of stealing from other countries to benefit Europe, there are much larger returns for them to destroy Europe and benefit the other countries. So they'll set up in Middle East somewhere. They'll set up in UAE or Saudi. Or, and they'll just make money off the decline of Europe. That's all they'll do.
Well, in this conversation, you sort of focused a little bit on like the Democrats as far as in America goes, not necessarily the UK. But you don't think that the Republicans are still part of the same sort of nexus?
100% they are. I think that if I am honest with you, I don't think democracy is even a license to get anything done because I don't see any of these senators doing anything. Even Trump, who's I'm a huge fan of and has so much power to do whatever he wants outside of America's border, struggles to do anything inside of America. He can't even kick someone out. They have some judge who stops it. Oh, well, you can send Blackhawks to kidnap the president. You can put tariffs on the EU. We could go to war with China if he said so, but you can't kick out one dirty Mexican from your own country. Doesn't even make any sense. Because I don't think democracy allows anybody who gets power the ability to actually do anything besides steal. Yeah. I think democracy is just a mandate to steal. So the Republicans get into power with all these fantastical ideas, and then they look around and realize they have no power at all and they can't do it. So they just want to get rich before they leave. They're all stealing, bro.
Yeah.
Like this Somalian daycare bull. Why don't the Republicans cause a fuss? Because it's their money too.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the frustrating part. You see it and you're just kind of like, and not even just that. It's like even all the Doge stuff that they were talking about. And then
they kick Elon out for trying to cut the money down.
And even like the whole fact that the Pentagon is, they don't pass any audits for 8 years. It's like, it's just a very clear sign that like they don't, not that they don't know what's going on. They just don't care enough to actually change it.
If you enter a culture where everybody's already stealing, are you going to be the only dumb who doesn't? And then nobody will trust you if you don't. So you don't even get to keep your job. So if you walk in and everybody's stealing, if you walk into a store and everyone's stealing, are you going to go to the cash register and pay? Like, are you maybe at the beginning for a while, but then after a while, you're like, this is dumb. Fuck this. Just give me the stuff. Everyone's just raping the system. Democracy is a license to endlessly steal. And the Republicans have no interest in changing it either. And when you understand democracies and how this all works, I guess you could argue, if you want to be optimistic, that the people who are principled enough to not steal aren't allowed to win. You could also argue that.
Yeah.
But my argument is actually that most people get inside of the system, realize how it is, realize there's nothing they can actually really do, and they may as well just get rich while they're there. I think people just give up.
Fair. So I kind of wanted to ask you this question specifically to that point. When it comes to, the sort of conversation around the America right now and it being controlled by the Jews, right? If Christians were largely controlling, let's say they had the controlling ability of these companies and conglomerates and all the transnational money and everything, do you think that it would be a different situation or the same? Because I would argue that human nature, people are greedy.
I think people are greedy, and I also think people are naturally tribal, and the people who are not tribal get destroyed. I mean, if we're going to argue that the Jews are in charge of everything and they're looking out for the Jews, then what you're arguing for and saying is that Jews are doing what white people should be doing.
Right.
But they're not doing it. I don't know. My view on a lot of things, especially politically, and trying to understand how this world works, is that there's a few basic laws of the universe. There's cause and effect. There's power vacuums always get filled. But another thing I try to apply in my mind is that many people often, as unfair and unkind and cruel as the world seems, kind of get what they deserve in some ways. Like, if you're not going to stick up for your country and stick up for your people, and you're going to allow yourself to go extinct, then you're going to go extinct. Like, this is just unfortunately human nature, right? There's always been outside oppressive force, and you either resist the outside oppressive force or you get crushed by the outside oppressive force. That's it. If America survives or not almost depends on whether it deserves to. And if it gets destroyed, then it deserved to get destroyed. It's kind of a, I don't want to be evil when I'm trying to say this. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, the white man didn't unfairly conquer the indigenous. The indigenous weren't good enough or didn't try hard enough, and they lost. That's it. And if now the American continent as we know it and the American population get conquered by whatever or changes into something else, then they didn't try hard enough to resist. This is just human nature. It's how the world works. Power vacuums get filled. So if Christians were in charge of everything, would they be tribal and stick together and put their own interests first? I don't think so, because if they were that way, then they'd already be in charge of everything.
That's an interesting point.
I just think that we live in a world now where it's very unfortunate for the standard white average man in a Western country, because you're the only people on the planet who don't optimize for tribalism. Like, if you go to Taiwan and you get accused of rape by a Taiwanese girl and she speaks to Taiwanese police and you go in front of a Taiwanese judge, you're done. That's it.
You just made me think of Italy real quick. I don't know.
Yeah, in Philippines.
Sorry,
exactly.
yeah.
You're toast, right?
Yeah.
Because you're not one of them.
Yeah.
Whereas if it was all the other way around, if a white girl went to white police in front of a white judge and accused a Taiwanese man of raping her and there was no evidence, he'd walk.
Yeah.
So you guys are far more fair. But we can apply this we can think about this different ways, whether that's good or bad. Well, that's good that you're fair. But if it leads to your extinction, is it good? And I'm not saying to be corrupt in court. I'm saying, is any idea that leads to the extinction of your own people a good idea? I was arguing this with a white Christian guy who was telling me that marriage is so important. And I said, I'm anti-marriage. And he's like, no, marriage matters most. I said, listen, he goes, kids without fathers, they commit crime, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, listen, you're literally about to go extinct. So you don't have time for marriage. You need to get yourself 8 white baby mamas and make some babies.
Yeah.
Because you're going to go extinct. And if you think that piece of paper is more important than the survival of your race, then you're an idiot. Because who gives a when you're all gone? Everyone's going to sit around saying white people were so stupid. They had to marry a bitch first. It took 2 years to convince her. They wasted all their life savings doing it. And they're like, what the fuck are you doing? Black people don't care. They don't give a her baby, her baby, her baby. Welfare. Who gives a like? So any idea that leads to your decimation, I would argue, is probably a bad idea.
Yeah.
So maybe white people need to get more tribalistic, which is probably bad for me in court because I ain't that white. I'm just trying to observe from the outside.
Yeah.
It's really interesting that white people are the only people who don't think that way. I read something really interesting about how a sailor who was traveling the world with the British was amazed that he had never encountered a contract anywhere in the world besides the white world. And he said, only does the white man believe in using a contract, because the white man optimizes for competency and all other races optimize for their tribe. So for a very simple thing. Yeah. So I'm a white guy. I want a boat. I don't know how to make a boat, but I have money. So I go down to the shipbuilder and I say, here, can you build me a boat? He goes, yeah. I say, let's do a contract. Let's do a deal. I don't know you. You don't know me. We don't know each other, but I'm going to give you money and you're going to give me a boat. And then he builds the boat and the boat is seaworthy. So we have a nice navy. Whereas if you're in Africa and you want a boat, you go to your brother. Now your brother can't build a boat, but he's the only guy who won't rob you. So you just go to him and say, listen, I need a boat. He goes, I don't know how. He said, yeah, but you're my younger brother, so you better make one. And you make a boat. But anyone else will just steal from you because you'll give them the money for the boat and they'll go, yeah, no problem, and just steal it.
Yeah.
So you have to optimize for tribalism as opposed to competency. And the fact that the white man could optimize for competency is why you built these big, beautiful societies. It's why you're neighborly. It's why you don't play music too loud. It's why you're friendly. It's why you've learned how to get along with people you don't like. It's why you've learned how to do business with people you don't like and make money with people you actively hate. You're good at getting along with people who you don't know, who aren't in your tribe, because you always had this idea for hundreds of years that this optimizes for competency. Other people don't think that way. Other races are just like, he's not my family, so I can't trust him. I may as well steal from him because he's not on my team.
Where do you think that came from?
I think it just came from societal evolution. Like societal evolution is a thing. When you argue if white people are smarter than black people, you haven't got to argue it from a physical, biological evolutionary standpoint. You can argue it from a societal evolution standpoint. If no one goes to school in the whole country for 500 years, the average IQ is going to go down.
Yeah.
That's all it is. So if everyone steals, this is the thing that's so remarkable. Like the Somalis who are committing fraud don't even really consider it stealing. They don't consider it fraud. I'm getting money for my people. What's the crime? The crime is that you're stealing money from an institution which is designed to do something else. Well, in my world, institutions don't work. Every institution that's ever existed was giving money to someone else. It was all just stealing. I've never in Somalia been able to ever believe in an institution for more than 5 minutes. So what the fuck is an institution? That's not even a person I'm stealing from. I'm getting free money for my people from nothing. What's wrong with this? In their brain, they don't get it.
Yeah.
They're like, and then you'll sit and say, oh no, the institution is supposed to fairly give money to everybody, irregardless of their race, creed, religion, so that everybody can benefit from this magical, godlike, kind institution, which is taking care of all of society. And they sit there and go, yeah, but they're not my people. So I want it. It's just like a completely different tribal mentality that the white man doesn't have. And it's led to, I mean, it was the greatest strength because it built civilization because you're optimizing for competency. But now it's been hijacked and it's the biggest weakness. And now white people are going extinct in their own nations. And I say this as a brown man, but I like white chicks. So you need to hurry up and make some. Somebody needs to hurry up and make some because we're running out. So, you know, it's crazy. But this all ties into the World War II, the Holocaust, Club of Cost scenario I was in. All of this comes from World War II.
Kanye Gate. I don't know.
Kanye Gate, bro.
I'm trying to figure out what to call it.
Bro, gay and stupid.
Yeah, it really, it was an interesting time the last few days for sure. That's all I'll say.
The world news must be slow.
It's crazy. But so I want to talk to you a little bit about like your actual childhood. Have you ever shared much about that?
I think I've spoken about it a bit. But I don't think it was truly that remarkable. I have a few stories which might be considered remarkable, but I think it was a pretty normal life.
The reason why, I guess the real question I want to get to with you is, how did you actually become who you, obviously I know you've became who you are through all your trials and all your experiences, but like at what point in your life were you like, there's something more for me?
I don't know if you're born with this or not, but I kind of always knew that a lot of the things I was being told, or a lot of the things that were originally expected of me, were not going to lead to the life I want to live. I can't explain why I knew from a very young age that I wanted to have an exceptional life. And it's not because I wanted exceptional things or to be able to even go to exceptional places. I just didn't understand why other people had things that I couldn't have. I don't know how else to explain. I was 7 or 8 years old. Yeah. I didn't understand why. I was like, Dad, why do they have all that? Well, they have money. Well, why do they have money? They have a good job. So their whole life is better because of their job. Yeah. So why can't I have that job? You have to go to school. Okay. And then you go to school and you're like, well, this ain't going to give me a fuck. This is bullshit. Like, I just knew there was a different version of reality. And I think it's just curiosity more than anything else. I just want to explore every level of the map before I'm gone. I think that's all it is. I can't tell you exactly where that came from. You know, before all my legal trouble, I used to say to Tristan, I wonder what jail's like. I want to explore every level of the map.
That's hilarious.
And then God gave it to me. So lucky me. But, you know, you just want to explore all the levels of the map and see it all. I had a fantastic father. I had a fantastic mother. I had a great childhood. Nothing bad happened to me. I have a whole bunch of fantastic stories to tell. But all in all, I just knew there were people living a version of reality that most others didn't. And I wanted to understand how that was done.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
What do you think the most valuable lesson your father taught you was?
I think he taught me to understand that, and I've learned this very deeply and understand this very well, especially in the last few years, is that your enemy's never going to really have mercy on you. I think that's an important lesson that a lot of people forget. I see people complaining, or whether it's at their girlfriend. I see people who, let's take a very simple, benign example. Their girlfriend is annoying them, and they say, listen, I'm under a lot of stress. Just leave me alone. And I'm like, she's never going to have mercy. People don't have mercy on you. In fact, when they see weakness, they just double down. That's human nature, is you have to be the resistance against the oppression, or they're going to push till the very end till you're crushed. If you expect your enemy or your opponent to ever have mercy on you, 99.9% of the time you're wrong. And if they do have mercy, it's temporary. They'll come back. And I think that comes from chess, and it also comes from a few stories of my childhood. When I've tweeted this one out, when I was riding the school bus when I was 8 years old, there were some kids who were older than me picking on me. And they were both 10, and they were behind. There's two of them, and they used to like flick my ear and throw things at me. I was 8. And I went home, and one day I was crying. And I said to my dad, these two boys are picking on me. And he said, where? And I said, on the school bus. And he said, you have a lunchbox. And he was playing chess, drinking whiskey. He used to play himself at chess back and forth. He said, I had a lunchbox. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then I got back on the bus. A day goes past, another day goes past. They're still picking on me. For the next 3 or 4 days, they're picking on me. And then one of them flicked my ear. I remember, you know, when you just boil with rage. I just boiled with rage. He flicked my ear. And I remember just boiling with rage. And I turned around with the lunchbox and smashed him clean in the face. And blood started squirting everywhere. It was a blue Batman lunchbox. It smashed into pieces. And the piece of plastic got stuck in his face. And there's blood squirting everywhere, all from his eyebrow. And I hit him. And after I hit him, I just ran straight off the bus. And I ran so fast. I wasn't even thinking because so much adrenaline that I was holding on to the handle. And the whole lunchbox was gone. I'd smashed it to fucking pieces on his face.
Yeah.
So I get to the front door of my dad's home, and he sees me holding just the lunchbox handle, and there's blood all over my hand. He had been playing chess against himself all afternoon. And he said to me, let's go, son, get in the car. And we got in the car and went to the Walmart. And he said, I'm never going to call the school, but I'll buy you as many of these lunchboxes as you need. And he bought me another one. And I went back to school the next day with a new Batman lunchbox. And I never saw those kids again. I don't know if they got taken out of school or what. I never saw either of them ever again. I was really scared to get back on the bus. Never saw them again. So my dad never bailed me out from anything. Or like in chess, where I was a professional chess player when I was young, you start to lose. You can't sit and, make a sad face. They're going to crush you. You leave a pawn hanging, they're going to take it. So I think I've learned from a very young age that your enemy's never going to have mercy on you. And a lot of people go through life expecting their enemy to have mercy in so many tiny, intangible ways. They expect if they act weak or act sad or show they're hurt or, to show they're not a threat, that eventually the person who could kill them won't kill them. And that's not my mentality. My mentality is that if they can kill you, they will. The second it's convenient.
Do you think people are taught that?
Of course, 100%. I think people are taught that from a very young age to a lot of men, especially in the world today, try to broadcast that they're not a threat. And their idea is that if I broadcast I'm not a threat, no one will hurt me. And the annoying thing about it is it kind of works. You can see these streamers, which are real skinny little dweeby pieces, and they're so skinny and so pathetic, you can't even really hit them. It's annoying. You wish they were a bit bigger so you could just smack them in the face, But that, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So it does exist and it does work to a degree. But of course, in the real world, if someone wants to rob this retard of his watch, they're not going to give him he's skinny or feel sorry for him. But yeah, it's absolutely a taught thing where a lot of people believe that, saying sorry or giving up or rolling over is going to elicit mercy from people. And I think if you go through life understanding that's simply not true, that you're going to approach situations, I wouldn't even necessarily say more better, but you're happier with yourself in how the situation was handled.
Yeah.
I'm happy I'm the only person in human history who called the Romanian system corrupt while in the Romanian system and didn't get put under a jail. Yeah. Like when I was going in and out of court, everyone was saying to me, my lawyers, other lawyers hanging around the court, other judges who weren't presiding, hanging around the court when I was standing there, they said, listen, if you keep calling the Romanian system corrupt, they're going to fucking wreck you. You have to shut up and show respect to the system. And I was like, it's corrupt though.
Yeah.
And they're going to fuck me anyway. So let me go to jail with my head held high.
And also fighting back.
Yeah, of course. Like I was just like, fuck you, this is a setup.
Yeah.
And everyone was telling me not to do that. They were saying, if you just shut up, show you're humble, be quiet, you can win. And I was like, I don't think I'm going to win anyway. So fuck them. I'll just fight it tooth and nail to the end. I didn't expect them to ever have any mercy on me, And I think that's the most important lesson from my childhood. And I think it's something that a lot of people in the world today just have forgotten, or it's not their mentality. There's a lot of people looking for a lot of sympathy and a lot of pity all the time. That's what a lot of liberalism is. That's what a lot of even social media is. It's crying, complaining, excuses. All this anti-Semitism is the same. The Jews did this. The Jews did that. The Jews didn't stop me getting rich. So, I mean, it's clearly doable. The
Right.
Jews didn't stop me going to the gym. The Jews didn't make my woman fucking hate me. So if you're sitting there writing these things, I don't know what you're hoping for. You know, it's just mercy, I guess, or some degree of pity. It's pathetic, really.
What are some of the things that you think are making life as hard as it is today for men? Like, what are some of the institutions? What do you think are some of the things that, if we got rid of, potentially life could be easier in America?
Oh yeah, there's absolutely no doubt there's a war on masculinity in the world, and the reason for that is because masculinity is the only thing that's going to resist the enslavement. Women, when they protest, they're annoying. Men, when they protest, they're a revolution, and things must change. Men have physical force. Men have power. If all the military-age men in a country hit the street, it's over for that country. I think the magic number is 3%. They say if 3% of the population of any country takes to the street, that the government must change. There's never been a time in history where 3% or more of the country was on the street and the government didn't change. That's the magic number. That's all it takes, 3%. So the people in charge are very, very afraid of this idea that 3% of the population, primarily male, are going to go to the street and say, we deserve to have a country for ourselves, or we're unhappy with these things. They don't mind when women complain and protest and riot. They don't mind the pink hats and all this crap because women can't do anything. Women are largely considered and understood by the system to be useless in terms of resisting slavery. If you go to women and say, it's time to all be slaves, they're going to sit there and go, okay. They always have. It's their biological nature. Because when two tribes went to war, the winning tribe absorbed the women from the losing tribe. And the women just changed their ideas and spoke a new language and instantly agreed to be slaves and have sex with these dudes, or they died. And they had no reason or any capability to resist. The biggest perpetrators of COVID were women. They're not going to stand up and go through what you went through.
Right.
And the stress you went through. And they're not going to go through I went through. I got arrested in Germany for not wearing a mask. And every woman around me is like, just put it on. I'm like, it's not just a mask.
Yeah.
It's bigger than that. I'm going to go to jail. This takes men to do. So masculinity is the thing that resists against their oppression. So their primary weapon against masculinity is empowering this insane, toxic, ridiculous femininity to the point now where America is a gynocracy. Women run this show, bro. Women run this country. And it's not until you live in a country which is a genuine patriarchy do you notice how powerful women are in the West. Why is it if you're a politician in America, do you have to constantly parade your wife around? I don't care about your wife. Why do I know what she looks like? Why is she commenting on your job? Who hired her? Who gives it?
Yeah.
This is female empowerment bullshit. Every TV show, the woman's smarter. Every politician has to talk about how great his wife is every 5 seconds. Women have more rights in basically any situation than a man. Men don't have a single benefit or right over women in any scenario ever. Women can accuse you of rape and things you didn't do and completely wreck your life with no evidence at all. Women have all the power in this entire country. Everything is all female-led. And that is done not because women are powerful. That is done by other men, evil men, who understand the best way to attack masculinity is to empower women to the point where they just completely drown out masculinity. In most marriages in the West today, the wife is effectively in charge. And once you've got that done, once you have a household where women are in charge of men, you now have the ability to psyop the women with emotional arguments and control the entire population. That's how they did COVID. Grandma.
Yeah.
Grandma.
Yeah.
Men are logical. And men are like, I don't care. Grandma's old. Old people die if they get sick. Women aren't logical. I love my grandma. So if all the wives are in charge of their husbands, now the husbands comply, which means the kids comply. So they are deliberately empowering women to a ridiculous level now so that women have more power than men. And unfortunately, women are far more susceptible to emotional arguments than men, which means you can now use an emotional argument to control the entire population. You don't have to sit and say, immigration unchecked without passports is good for the society. Here's a study and prove it. You have to say, look at this kid at the border who died. Emotional argument.
Right.
And now the women are protesting, begging for a country to remove its borders, which is insane.
Yeah.
So if you look at all the bad things which are happening in the West and are destroying Western society, the LGBT insanity, the open borders, the constant and endless abortion, the anti-ICE protests, all this crap is women. The the drag queen story hours, it's women. So they've taken women, not because women are innately evil, but women are a tool. They're a conduit. And women are doing the work of the devil at behest of the men who obey the devil to destroy this place.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. Do you believe this is truly good versus evil? Or is it just humans who are just greedy? Which I guess you could be perceived as evil.
Yeah, it's hard to draw the line of what truly good is and what truly evil is. But I would argue that anyone who is anti-human is going to be the evil one. So anyone who wants there to be less humans or anyone who wants to see humans die is evil. And humans are always going to fight. People are always going to die. There's always going to be a competition for resource. I understand all of that. But if your policy, by and large, leads to less people than more people, I would argue that it's an evil policy. So abortion is evil because it's killing people. And a lot of the people in charge of the world, their primary objective, the number one thing they're actually trying to do with all of these policies is reduce the number of people. That's what they're trying to do.
For what?
Well, once AI is here, what do they need the people for? I mean, useless eaters become a problem pretty quick. They either rebel and they revolt and they burn the whole thing down, or you have to feed them forever. I mean, what do you do with a whole subsect of the population who don't have jobs? Elon's saying that it's going to be universal income and everyone's going to be happy. I disagree with Elon, even though he knows a lot more than I do, and he's a smart guy, and I struggle to disagree with someone who I know knows things I don't.
Right.
Everyone on universal basic income within a week will become hedonistically adapted to their income, get used to it, get bored of it, and start being dickheads or wanting more. That's human nature. If you get $1,000 a week, at first you're like, yes. And after a month, you're like, I need more money. You just spend it, right? So I think that since the dawn of human time, if you read any history book, a large proportion of primarily men who had nothing to do always ended up doing one thing, which is burning everything down. Revolution.
Yeah.
So if they understand that AI is coming and a lot of jobs are going to be replaced by robots, what do they want all these people for anyway? Especially the white people, because the white people really understand what's going on. They sit around and they think and they observe and they notice things. And white people have expectations. White people want to live in a nice house and they want healthcare and they want their taxes spent on the things they're supposed to be spent on. And they want the laws to be adhered and they want the politicians they elect to actually do their jobs. White people are really inconvenient for the people in charge.
Those damn contracts. Too,
yeah, they're annoying. But if you get a whole bunch of Somalis in and let them steal a bit, you can do whatever the fuck you want, right?
Yeah.
It's all a big show. So I think that there is a deliberate attempt to depopulate the earth, specifically because they understand in the future that huge swaths of people are not going to be needed and they're going to end up being a massive problem. And that's why birth rates are off a cliff, which is another reason why they're pushing feminism so heavily. Another reason why they're so heavily psyoping females is because they don't want women to do the number one thing they're supposed to do, which is birth children. They want women to chase Birkin bags. They've convinced women that a piece of leather for $10,000 is $30,000.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Is worth more than the beautiful love of a child. And women believe this. So we now have a dating market that's so ridiculously skewed. You can say to the average chick in LA who's 24 years old, do you want a baby from this guy? He works in a factory, makes $100,000 a year. You can have his kid and you can be in love and you can raise your kid for 18 years. Or do you want a Birkin bag off this billionaire and get played with and get twice a year on holidays? They'll take the bag.
Yeah, that's this.
It's over. It's over for like society as a whole.
Man.
Yeah, and this is all being done on purpose because there's too many people and people are actually becoming quite inconvenient. And the people who they do want, they need to keep as slaves. So you want slave-minded individuals. You don't want people who think for themselves. You don't want individualism. You don't want people to notice anything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a scary future we're looking at because especially with AI, you know, it's kind of crazy when you study the rise and fall of empires. They all fell the same way. The Roman Empire fell because of mass migration and inflation and men not wanting to join the army because they were disenfranchised with the Roman state, which is exactly where we are now. And the whole fucking thing collapsed. And every single empire rises and falls the same way from the same things. Inflation and mass migration, same things. And the American empire is going to fall. And normally when the empires fall, a new empire takes its place. But this is the first time in history where the new empire is not going to be another group of people. It's going to be a bunch of machines. And that's kind of scary. Like when the Dutch Empire fell, the English took over. And when the English Empire fell, America took over. And then the American Empire falls, and what takes over is Skynet.
Yeah, well, like who's in
Who's in
control
charge of Skynet?
Yeah.
Who's in charge of the Terminators?
Right.
And then it may not even be a country. It may just be a select group of 25 people somewhere. Who f***ing knows?
Yeah.
And they're controlling every single algorithm. Who f***ing knows, bro?
This is pull up that clip that I have the billionaire guy. This clip I want to get your reaction to this clip is probably one of the most concerning things. Don't play it yet. Probably one of the most concerning things that I've like ever like heard from someone. It's just like so in your face. This I guess this is some Jewish or Israeli billionaire. But play this clip.
I know it's difficult to hear, but it's time to limit the First Amendment in order to protect it, and quickly before it's too late.
What do you mean?
I mean that we need to control the platforms, all the social platforms. We need to stack rank the authenticity of every person that expresses themselves online and take control over what they are saying based on that ranking.
The government.
The government should
control the social media.
Yeah.
That is the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. We need to have the government control what can or can't be said, and then we need to make sure the authenticity of what someone's saying is true or false, but the government's in control of that.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah. Every single person with power wants more power, and every single government on the earth is trying to get as much power as possible over its citizens without a riot. And I think now that social media is so out of control and there's so much truth in the world, like, let's think about this. Let's analyze. If you would have told people in the 1980s that there would be something called the internet, which allows people to access all of the world's information nearly instantly for free, and that people all around the world can talk and collaborate with each other for free instantly, and that everybody is awake to all of the lies and all of the mass corruption and all of the political assassinations, and everybody knows that the medical system, the judicial system, the educational system, the police, everything is corrupted head to toe, and that their taxes are being stolen, and everybody's aware of it. What do you think is going to happen? Well, then people in the 1980s would say, well, there'll be a revolution. So why is there not a revolution? And there's not a revolution because I believe, my theory is that instead of actually trying to lock everyone up and control everything they say and stop everybody from realizing the truth, they've just decided to flood the internet with so much constant and endless bullshit that people just can't decipher what's true and what isn't.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to get people to tell we have a secret we're trying to hide, and the secret's out. Okay, well, then let's give 25 more false secrets. Let's just flood it with bollocks, agree and amplify. And I think we're at the stage now on the internet where it's just agree and amplify to such a level that nobody can even really decipher which of the conspiracy theories is true, which of it's not true, which one they should act on, which one they shouldn't. And then everybody's fighting amongst each other. We stay divided. It is only collectivism that's going to allow you to resist the enslavement. There needs to be something that unifies us as people so that we all go to the street and believe in defending something common. But they've divided us to such a level now that nobody gets along with anybody. Everyone hates everyone.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do we all get along for long enough to resist this insanity? We can't. So, and if, the conspiracy theory in me would argue that the people who are in charge of the world aren't stupid, and they're actually trying very, very hard to keep us separate. And they don't want collectivism because collectivism is what they're most scared of. And that's why they try to destroy ideas like nationalism, because nationalism unites people behind a flag. And that's why they try to destroy anything that everyone can unite behind, especially people of different races, different religions, different colors, that they really find that scary. They don't like it. And then I guess I would argue that all these algorithms and these AI machines, which have the ability to calculate and computate endless information in real time so quickly, is deliberately feeding our algos and feeding our eyes things that, like we said earlier, are designed to destroy our idea of believing in hope or believing in a collective solution to anything. We said earlier that the algorithm is deliberately trying to make you think certain things to buy stuff. Well, isn't it also trying to make you think certain things to prevent you from ever uniting with your common man?
Yeah.
Isn't it designed to make you feel hate for everybody so that you're like, okay, I'll just get rich and leave everyone behind?
Yeah. Do you ever think that, because I struggle with religion, and like, I grew up Catholic. I would say that I'm Christian now. I've been reading the Bible. Do you ever struggle? Because I've struggled with this idea that religion almost to me felt like, for some reason, the first sort of psyop that to try to get people, of course, or corralled into believing something as like a group.
100% it was. I think it was. Yeah, I think that even if it's pure, every single idea that exists on the planet is going to be corrupted by humanity. You can give humanity the most pure thing on the planet, we're going to corrupt it. And even if we get something that's fantastic, the first thing we're going to do is think of how it can be turned into a weapon. Why are we concerned about AI being turned into a weapon? Think of all the amazing things it can do. It can solve cancer. Why are we not sitting here talking about how AI is going to solve cancer? We're talking about how it's going to be used to enslave us all, because we know what humans do.
Yeah.
Gunpowder was invented for fireworks. Pretty fireworks in the sky. So what happened?
Yeah.
We started blowing each other up. So religion was used to control humanity, of course, because everything on the planet that has ever been invented has been used to control humanity. But I would argue, by and large, that religion in and of itself has still been a net positive for humanity. I think when I was younger, I used to believe that religion was the source of all the problems. I used to think that religion is why people fight, and that if we get rid of religion, everyone will get along. But when you get rid of religion, then government becomes their religion, and atheists are actually more evil than anyone else. So we talked earlier about collectivism, and I think that collectivism, although it has its problems because it can force you to war against other tribes, I think in the world we're living in, as people get more and more socially isolated and more lonely and sitting in their house by themselves more and more, the idea that there's something that can unify large groups of people, I actually think is a beautiful thing, and I think it's really important.
Yeah.
I think it's really important. I think that the chance of you getting people on the street to save a nation is a lot higher if they're all one religion and saying that, you know what, for this, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good thing. I've had this discussion many times about religion, and I have to be careful what I say because there's people who know more than I do and what's true and what's false. But even the idea of true and false itself is a paradigm that can be explored. If you're on a boat and you and your friend are on a boat and you're shipwrecked, you're on a life raft, and you discover two islands.
You like boats, huh? I can tell you like boats. You got a lot of boat analogies.
Do I?
I'm sorry.
Do I have a lot of boat analogies?
Sounds like you want to be on a fucking boat somewhere.
Now I'm thinking, and now I'm trying to analyze my own brain. Do I have a lot of boat analogies?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Sorry.
If you and your friend end up stuck on two separate islands, and on one island they're atheistic, and on one island they believe in God, and on the atheistic island they stab you to death and eat you because you, why not? And on the other island they want to eat you, but they don't eat you because God told them not to.
Yeah.
Is God real? I mean, it's just their idea of God, but it's a stupid God you never heard of. It's Tutu, but Tutu saved your life. So is God real? I mean, I don't know. It's like, so if the idea of God makes people all act in a certain way, which is beneficial, and that makes everyone happier, is that God real? You're living amongst these people who are acting in a Christian way, or they're acting in a particular way, and you feel good amongst them, and your life is better, and their life is better, and everyone's getting along because everyone believes in this idea of this God, and it's genuinely benefited to people on the ground. You can feel it tangibly. Everyone's life is actually better because of this idea. Is it real?
Yeah. I would say so.
So would I.
Yeah.
It's hard to say it's not. It's having tangible, real effects on the earth. So, when you discuss all of these things, it's complicated because God, even as an idea, can be enough to save people's lives and prevent crime and do a lot of beautiful things. And also God as an idea can be used as a justification to chop someone's head off.
Yeah. Or take land or whatever.
So it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
What would you say? Because I know a lot of young men follow you, and a lot of young men are interested in what you have to say about success and finding success. You found yours. What would you say are some of the most important things men can do right now, like if they're in their early 20s, to figure out what they can be successful at? Because a lot of guys are wandering.
Yep, they are wandering. And not only are they wandering, they're also gambling. The system is completely broken. I think it's very important before we have these conversations, we understand that the system that you and I grew up in, and the system that especially our parents grew up in, is fundamentally, completely, now totally broken. The idea that you can go to school, get a degree, go get a good job, work hard at your job, get a promotion, start to save money, compound your money in the bank over time to buy a property which you own is bullshit. All gone, never going to happen. You're never going to get a degree, which puts you $200,000 in debt, then get a job and pay off that student debt, and then save enough money to now buy a house, and then pay off that house. You're talking by the time you're 70, you'll still be paying this crap off.
Yeah.
So there's no way this works anymore. The traditional system that everybody was supposed to invest in, which was good for society because it, 1, educated people, 2, gave everyone a path, gave everyone hope, 3, gave everyone stability, 4, gave everyone a home, which gave them a vested interest in their societies.
Yeah.
All of that's gone.
Gone. Yeah.
So young people today are effectively gambling. When I speak to young men, what they are doing basically is meme coins or crypto or literal gambling in a casino because they realize the game is so rigged they can't work their way out. They have to get lucky on their way out. If you add into the fact that AI is accelerating and even more importantly, a lot of the world's money is becoming heavily monopolized, and I see this all the time, there are less and less small independent companies. And there are more and more branches of BlackRock and Vanguard and these huge super conglomerates, which are just sucking up all of the world's liquidity and all of the money's going to them. So you're living in a world where you have to gamble your way out. If you try and start a company, you're competing with monsters. And AI is coming and replacing jobs in real time.
Yeah.
So it's an extremely difficult position to be in. And unfortunately for young people, it's only going to get worse. So every day you waste, I think the first lesson, if you're a 22-year-old trying to escape now, is that every day you waste, the game gets harder. So you need to act now. You don't have 3 years. Your biggest weapon now in the world is time. And that's why you actually need to resist, I believe, traditional education. It's not that they steal $200,000 from you. It's that they steal 4 years from you.
Time.
4 years ago, ChatGPT didn't exist. You don't have 4 years to learn from a textbook from 1996. The biggest waste of time on the planet. So you don't have time, because the game's rigged against you. The second thing is that I think that every generation has its large wealth generation event. I think that each age bracket of people had something that happened when they were alive that gave them the chance to generate a whole bunch of wealth. And for our parents, primarily, it was property. People in the generation above us, they could buy cheap homes, and the homes exploded up in value. And I think in the world we live in today, the only thing that's still cheap, in fact, it's cheaper than it's ever been, we already touched on this, is information. Because you don't have to go to school to get information, and you don't have to get a degree to get information, and you don't have to hire someone who has the information to get information. You could just ask your phone. So information is the new gold rush. It's the new cheapest thing that you can get hold of, and everyone has access to it. It's true, but most people are lazy. Most people are stupid. And if you get some good information and you get first movers advantage, you actually take action and do things before other people, there's still a way you can make money. But it's just having the perspicacity, my favorite word, to pay attention to opportunities all of the time and actually have the agency to act on them and to be quick, because the world is so fast now. You don't even have time. You don't even have a day to make a business plan.
So how do you know what to look for?
Well, I'll tell you some ways I make money. So in the age of financialized capitalism, which is where we are, the most difficult thing about making money in the world today is that you need money to make money. And this is what makes it so difficult to do, because if you have no money in the first place, how do you make money? Any dipshit now can turn 10 million into 20 million. They just buy stocks and wait. That's it. It's not even hard. I mean, Bitcoin's not doing what it's supposed to do, but if you have enough belief, you can buy Bitcoin and wait.
Yeah.
You know, in the olden days, if I said double your money, you had to take that money, go build factories and hire staff and sell whatever product you were producing to double your money. You haven't got to do that now. And the reason you don't have to do that is because you're buying into a monopoly. If you buy Amazon stock, you're effectively shutting down mom and pop shops all around the country because you're buying into the monopoly, which is crushing all the mom and pop shops because they can't compete.
Yeah.
So everything's becoming monopolized. It's very difficult. So to make money, you have to find an opportunity or find a way to make your first chunk of money, because it's easier than ever to turn money into money, but you need money in the first place. And it's harder than ever to make money from zero. I think a lot of the money now comes from the arbitrage on the lack of knowledge in simple things. So if you can speak to boomers and basically use ChatGPT for them, you can get paid. Inside of my university, for example, we have 18 modern wealth creation methods. We teach people how to make money online. And one of the ways we do that is we teach people how to make AI chatbots. And then they call up companies which do pool maintenance or driveways, basic stuff, older people who have these service businesses. We say, how do you deal with your inquiries when people go to your website? He says, well, people call me. And I said, what about the people who go to your website who don't call you? He says, I don't know who they are. We say, well, why don't we put a chatbot on your website? It'll cost you $30 a month. And they'll sit there and they'll try and convert the people or convince them to at least call you. And then they build these AI chatbots and they call up these traditional service businesses and they take a subscription of $30 or $40 a month from all these different companies. And they build up $10,000, $20,000 a month doing this. We teach this all inside of my school. Once they get $10,000 or $20,000 a month inside of the same school, they can then go to the crypto investing campus and they can follow our professor, which long and shorts cryptos, and they can start to get their 20,000 up to 100,000. And this is how you have to do it. But it's getting off zero, which is the hardest thing. But a lot of it just takes agency. And there is an arbitrage now between the generation above us, which don't know how to use all of the things that the 17-year-olds know how to use. And I think this is where the money is.
Yeah.
And that's going to disappear as the older people die. It's going to be harder for someone who is now currently 5 years old, once they get 15, to call you and I and try and convince us to do something on a computer because we know how to use computers.
Yeah.
So right now, currently, as we sit here, if you were to ask me the best way to make money in the world today is to take advantage of the fact that there is a large subsect of the population that not only have all the money, but secondly, don't know how to do a lot of things that most young people already know how to do. And if you can leverage that correctly, you can actually make quite a lot of money simply. That's the best way to make money in the world today. And that's going to change because how to make money changes every 10 or 15 years. Like I said before, not too long ago, 20, 30, 40 years ago, property was the way. Now I think that's the way. What comes next, I don't know. What's going to happen with every single person on the planet and the entire generation below us is grown up. We're grown up. Everyone knows how to use AI. Everyone understands what crypto is. Everyone's already done their own investing.
Yeah.
Then how do you make money then? I don't know.
Yeah.
But right now there's a huge arbitrage. So that's where the money is.
What was the biggest loss you've ever made? The biggest loss you've ever had with crypto?
Oh, I've lost shitloads of money, bro. Loads. Let me think about it.
Like one time you're like, oh, that was.
But I've also made so much I don't care. So traditionally I buy and I just hold. So unless I sell, you don't really lose.
Oh, I love that mentality. That's exactly how I feel.
But I have bought some coins that have gone to zero. But I've also bought some coins that have made me ridiculous amounts of money. I would say probably the most I've lost in a single coin that I bought and went to zero is maybe 6 million.
Ugh.
Maybe. But then there's other coins I've made 20, 30 million from. I've been in crypto for a very long time.
Yeah.
I made a bunch of money with crypto.
There was after your fight with Chase, I don't know if it was a real tweet, but everyone's like, yo, he betted on himself to lose and he made a bunch of money.
No, I had this weird, I don't know what happened after the second round. I think it was like an adrenaline dump. I spoke to a doctor. I was like, I had this fight. I was in perfect shape. I trained for it. I was in fantastic shape. There's no reason for me to get tired. Why did I get tired? The doctor was like, look, you have so many other fights going on in your life. And it's the first time you fought after such a long time. And you have so much pressure externally, not just for the fight, but for the court cases and everything else. And you just had an adrenaline dump and your nervous system, you should have had a shorter fight or an easier fight for your first one back after 8 years.
Yeah.
And you just had an adrenaline dump. And sometimes when the adrenaline goes, your nervous system just doesn't fire the same and you couldn't fight. That's what the doctor told me. But I don't know. It was very weird. After the second round, I was saying to my coach, I don't know why I feel weird. I didn't feel tired, but I couldn't punch. It was really strange.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. But he beat me fair and square. And I'm not here to make excuses for losing.
No, I saw
he
the
beat
post
me.
fight.
He beat me. He didn't cheat. I don't know what happened. I don't know if my adrenaline was too high. I don't know if I was too hyped. I don't know what it was, but he beat me. So I'm just going to let him take the win. I'm not going to sit here and make excuses for it. It feels wrong to make excuses. I'm not an excuse-making kind of guy.
No, I saw the post-fight thing.
But I wasn't myself. I mean, obviously I can fight 1,000 times better than that. Obviously I was in shape. Really weird experience. So I guess I have to get back in there to find out, or I need to accept that, I had my time in the ring and I have other things to worry about now. And I'm 40 years old. And
yeah.
Do I need to go do this again? I don't need the money.
But you didn't bet on yourself to lose.
No, I didn't.
Was that a fake tweet?
I don't know who came up with that conclusion. I think someone came up with the conclusion because they saw the Polymarket odds. But I don't think Polymarket has the liquidity to bet 10 million and then get 88 million out. I don't think that's even real.
Yeah.
I don't think that's even a real thing. But look, I can't go to a nightclub without being an international incident. So losing a fight, I'm sure there's conspiracy theories around it, of course. But I was never fighting for the money in the first place. So I certainly wouldn't throw a fight for money.
Yeah.
I lost. I'll beat.
Yeah, fair. Would you ever fight again? Depends who, huh?
It's not even that it depends who. It's that the worst thing about dedicating 10 or 15 years of your life to something like I did is that you don't want to accept that you can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Bro, imagine you lost all your muscles.
Yeah.
You'd be like,
oh man.
It's going to suck when it comes, bro. It's going to suck.
It's going to come.
It's going to come. Yeah. Look like Ronnie's still trying to lift. And it's like, Ronnie, bro, give it up. You're like, you were the man.
Yeah.
And now you can't.
Yeah. He's the GOAT, man.
Yeah, it's right. And like Apollo Creed says it in Rocky IV, I don't want to change. That's who I am. I don't want to change before he fights Drago. And look what happens.
Yeah.
I could have very easily got brain damage.
Yeah.
I'm fighting a 6'6" guy in his prime who's 25 kilo bigger than me, 40, 50 pounds bigger than me, punching me in the head. By the third round, I know I can't fight properly. Something's wrong. I'm too proud to quit.
Of course.
So I'm just getting my face punched up. You know, I could have easily left with brain damage, or I could be, you know, never see my kids again. You can die. People die in the ring.
Yeah.
People have taken less punches than I took and died. So then you get to the point and you're like, you know, but I want to do it. But it's like, you know, people will say, you know, he's not top G anymore. He can't fight anymore, etc. When I was in my prime, I did it.
Yeah.
So I get to live and sleep peacefully at night, knowing that when I was 20 something and I was in my prime, I used my youth and I did it.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not
or Sneeko will say he's top G.
No.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Can I ask you about that?
Sure.
I'm curious because you guys have had I don't know how much time you've had together, but I remember a long time ago, I think he went to Romania.
Yeah. He wanted to be me, and he copied me for a very long time. And then eventually, via Fresh and Fit, he came out to see me. And then he was really weird. So I stopped talking to him. And for years, I didn't talk to him because he's done many very weird things. And the only reason I'm not telling the story is because he loves attention so much that he wants me to tell the story.
Fair.
That's just who he is.
Fair.
And he's a weirdo. And I refuse to talk to him because he's very strange. And basically, I think his name is pretty appropriate. You know, anyone who calls himself Sneaky. Hi, my name's Sneaky.
To be fair,
what man walks around and says, "Hi, my name's Sneaky, be my friend"? It's like, no. So anyway, he's a weirdo. And then I got to Miami.
To be fair, I like the guy. He's always been nice to me.
Of course. Yeah. And he will be until it benefits him not to be. And I got to Miami, and I never met Nick or Clav before. And I was speaking to them, and they're like, "Can we come?" And they were begging to bring Sneeko. And I'm a nice guy. So I was like, sure. Like, I haven't spoke to him in years. Like, how much damage can he really do?
Yeah.
He's not going to cause an international incident in a nightclub. He's just some dickhead. Like, let him come, whatever. You know, and only a few days before that, he was giving me for like, I defended Trump in Venezuela.
Yeah.
And
the might is right thing.
Yeah. And Duel sponsored the Misfits, which sponsored my fight. So he's constantly making videos insulting me. Andrew sold out because he's a gambling company's on his shorts. Andrew sold out because of Venezuela. Andrew just being a little prick on the internet, like a little girl, crying about me all the time because that's how he gets clicks, my name, or he doesn't get clicks. And I was still like, I'll just bring him, whatever. And then he did this, and now he's once again trying to get clicks off my name. It's just, you know, like,
you have to
maybe I'm from a different generation. Maybe I'm different. But let's say, you know, you and I have done this podcast. We've done podcasts before. We've trained together. We kind of know each other. Let's say you did something that upset me. Because I once previously got along with you or liked you, I just don't talk shit. I just don't say anything.
I just call you.
Yeah.
And be honest with you.
In private.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be the kind of guy who's like, yeah, I don't know. I see this all the time with Elon. Everyone's giving Elon a hard time because Elon says things people don't like. And everyone's constantly insulting him. And I'm like, guys, he bought Twitter for us. Just chill. Just at least say it nicely to him. Don't be like, you're solo to the Jews, you piece. I'm like, you're the only reason you even have an account is him.
Yeah.
I don't know. Though this new generation has no respect. It's just weird to me that you'll beg to see a guy, see him, cause a scene, and then be a prick about it afterwards. I'm just like, who are these kids? You know, when the old people used to be like, these kids have no respect. It's kind of like that. These children are just retarded. If you say to these kids, hey, you can get views for this, I swear they'll chop their heads off. I swear. It's like out of control.
Yeah.
It's out of control. And
well, it goes back to kind of what we were talking about. Like, what are the other ways to do it now?
There's no other way.
Yeah.
That's right. And truth isn't shocking anymore. So you have to be shocking to be shocking. And there's no way to make money anymore. So you have to try and do it on the internet. So these kids are literally desperate, like starving children for any reason. Like, what he's going to do is now take this clip and react to it.
Right.
And he's going to be like, yes.
I can't tell you. It's so funny.
It's just gay. It's just gay, bro. It's like, it's so gay.
Yeah. You know the hat thing, right? You mentioned it a few times. I can't tell you how many people came after to try to do the same thing.
100%.
Because like, you know, it happened first. Ronaldo went viral, and then some other kid came who was just shilling like a crypto coin.
Oh yeah,
went viral, and then like I could almost see it, like people coming with, because my gym you could film content. You know that, you've been there, and you just see them come up, and it's like they'll even try to get in for free, like on live stream, and it's like I know what you're trying to do,
bro. It's out of control. They have no respect, and they're risking their personal physical safety to do it. and they're risking all their relationships to do it. The thing that's so crazy and stupid and short-sighted is that I'm so much better a friend than an enemy. You get clicks by insulting me, whatever, but if you weren't a dickhead and you worked with me, you'd be a million times bigger. That's the thing that's just so ridiculous. They're very short-sighted people, but I guess, I'm glad they are, because you don't want fake friends in the world. But yeah, it's just, it's gay. So.
Yeah, fair. What was your perspective of Clav? You met him, and also, what's your perspective on the whole looks maxing thing?
Yeah, Clav actually seems like a good guy. He seems nice enough, but he's very young. I can't imagine being famous at 20, bro.
Yeah,
that must f your head up.
Yeah,
like imagine at 20, I was basically retarded. I don't know about you, but at 20, I thought I knew it all, but it turns out in hindsight, I was basically a retard.
Oh yeah, I didn't know, dude.
Bro.
And I felt the same exact way,
bro. So I don't know how these
and older people would tell me shit. And I'd be like, "Shut the." I wouldn't say it in my head. I'm like, "Shut." I was always respectful, but I'd be like, "Shut the."
Of course, we thought we knew it all.
Yeah.
And then hindsight comes, and you're like, "Oh man, I was a retard." Yeah. So he's only 20 or whatever, and he has this whole looks maxing thing going on. And he's right. I mean, being as attractive as possible is certainly going to benefit your life. There's no benefit to being unattractive. That's true. I do think that male attraction, though, isn't actually primarily really based on how you look. I think that male attraction is based on other things. Obviously, being good looking helps.
Yeah.
But if you're competent or you're strong, look, I know guys who are ugly, but they look scary, and that's enough because they look scary.
Yeah.
So you can be attractive as a man without being good looking. Unlike a woman, which you basically have to be good looking.
Yeah.
So, looks maxing is one thing, and I'm glad it works for him, and I'm not here to piss on his parade. But I think that teaching a whole bunch of young men to try and look as good as possible as opposed to be as good as possible is not the right way to go. I think that teaching most young men to be as good as possible gives them a higher chance, because not every man is going to be able to drastically change their appearance.
Yeah.
I mean, like to genuinely drastically change how you look, for a lot of men, it's going to be nearly impossible. But nearly any man can get strong. Nearly any man who dedicates himself can get rich. Any man can get important. Any man can be confident. Any man can be brave. Any man can, solicit respect from society to a degree that women find you attractive. Because women, although they like how people look, they actually have a whole bunch of other factors they find attractive, luckily for us.
Yeah.
So I'm not against looks maxing. But if a young man were to come up to me and say, how do I get as many girls as possible? I wouldn't say, of course I would say look as good as possible, but I wouldn't make that the primary focus. There's other things.
You wouldn't start bone smashing.
I wouldn't start bone smashing. No.
Okay.
Instead, he should get a whole bunch of money. Women are attracted to power.
Yeah, that's a fact.
That's what they're attracted to. Whether that's physical power, financial power, social clout, whatever it is, women are attracted to power. So you should focus on becoming powerful. And that's what women want, because power allows them to survive. It allows them to exist in your ecosystem and feel safe. And women want to feel safe.
Yeah.
So that's the world you have to live in. But hey, it's worked for him, and it's certainly a unique angle, because even before Clav blew up, people were saying to me, "Hey, how do you build a personal brand?" I was in Dubai, and people were asking me about personal branding at some event, and I said, "You know what? It's actually hard. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
It's not, the days of buying a Lambo and standing next to it are long gone."
Yeah.
So yeah,
look at these books. Look at this Lambo.
Yeah, bro.
You remember Ty?
Ty, yeah. Fucking
Dude.
one Lambo. I got 101 cars. Where the fuck, bro? It was crazy.
Yeah.
So that's long gone. So how do you have a personal brand now? Like, I told the truth against the system at a time when the system was oppressive, and I paid the price for it. I might lose my life for it. That built mine. Okay, cool. You did the same with COVID, and you own literally a physical business in LA. Okay, cool. But if you're a normal person and like, I want to build a personal brand, how? I'm like, nobody gives a fuck about you, bro. And they're not going to. Like, you need to have some of the most unique, coolest stories on earth, and you have to convince people that they're true. And you also have to make people watch in the first place, and then they have to feel a certain way. And you're trying to compete with the dopamine rush of every single addictive video game in the world and Netflix. And then you have to try and drag them into action at the end of it so you can somehow monetize it.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know how do you have a personal brand now? Personal brands are dying. And on top of it all, I think a lot of influencers are losing influence. In fact, I would argue that influencing as a whole is less influential than it was. And I would say that's down to AI also.
Yeah.
Think about it. When I first started, or when you first started in 2019, 2018, if people were bored, they'd scroll the internet and watch our videos. But now I've noticed more and more people just watching AI slop. So there's a huge percentage of people's time that would have been directed in my direction or your direction that's now going on videos of lava being cut,
Yeah. Yeah.
You ever caught yourself looking at that
Oh
shit?
yeah, dude.
Or a planet
get me
being
real
split
thin.
in half. So people are just sitting there watching complete bullshit. They're not
Yeah.
watching me anymore say women can't drive. They're not watching, or not watching you. They're just watching this complete garbage. So the machine, Skynet, the Terminator, is actually taking influence from the influencers because it's stealing human seconds away from watching us.
Then it gets worse. Then they're making fake people. Like people aren't even real, and they're speaking now.
Of course. So a lot of people are spending half the time they used to give to people like us, giving it to the machines and just training the algorithms. So influencers as a whole are losing influence. Someone came to me the other day and offered me a load of money to push a product. And I said, I can't do it because I only really focus on my school. My school teaches young men how to make money online. And all the young men inside of my school, I can speak to directly. That's my little army. Those are my guys. That's all I want to focus on.
Yeah.
So they asked me to push this product. I said no. They said, what other influencers can push it?
What type of product?
It's like I have to be careful saying it without saying what it is.
Right.
But it's like crypto related. It's kind of like something to do with cryptocurrency. It's kind of like a privacy solution for cryptocurrency.
Okay.
They're like, who else can push it? I was like, I don't know. And they're like, well, we just need someone to stand up and say that they use this product and that people should buy it. I said, firstly, nope, that doesn't even work anymore. I think that cryptocurrency as a whole, in fact, meme coins have destroyed the idea that celebrities are somehow people with integrity on any level. You know, like the idea, hi, my name's Andrew Tate. I really drink this because it's really good for me. Like celebrities can get attention to a product. And if the product is good, I'm not trying to insult your new product, but
that's fair.
no, but celebrities can bring attention to a product. And if the product is good, it can then sell itself. That's true.
Yeah.
But the idea of this is trash, but it's used by him. So okay, I'll buy it. I think that's actually gone. I don't think anyone cares.
I think it's dying.
It's dying.
Yeah.
Because influencers and celebrities are losing influence. And a lot of that's because of AI and AI stealing everything. And secondly, because the internet has humanized a lot of people to the point now where we used to believe people in Hollywood were like gods. And now we realize they're just retards.
Yeah.
So why would I give a shit what jeans Brad Pitt wears?
Yeah. I completely agree.
Like, I don't give a what jeans he wears. Am I supposed to?
Yeah.
I don't give a
Yeah, it's so funny. I was having a conversation that's similar. Some guy wanted me to work for a brand, and I was like, hey, "This is what I want." And he was like, "Oh, he's like Daniel Craig only got this," and I'm like, "No one gives a fuck about Daniel
Nobody cares.
Craig."
That's right. That's right.
And he laughed at me, but I was like, "Whatever, I get it."
It's true.
You know,
it's true. It like the last people with any kind of influence are people like us who talk on the internet because people know us for who we really are. But like actors and music and all this, everyone's just like, "Oh, don't give." Like, I really think it's amazing. The Grammys are here in LA soon. I don't know if they're now or soon, but whenever I see anything from the Grammys, besides literally George Clooney or Brad Pitt, I don't know who the these people are, bro.
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe if you live here, you know, but I see sometimes they go, this person won this award. I'm like, who?
Yeah.
I don't know who any of the actors are. I can barely name 5 singers. I hear songs and love the song. And then they'll name the artist and I'll be like, I think I've heard that name. And then they'll show me the person and I'll be like, I don't know who the person is.
Yeah.
Like they can walk down the street with no trouble. I can't walk anywhere. I get spotted all the time. You can't walk anywhere. You get spotted all the time.
Yeah.
It's only the internet people who are actually kind of famous left. And even we, like I'm saying, influencing is losing influence as a whole. So like personal branding and like online courses, all this crap is just gone and dead. Like
okay, so speaking to that directly, because a lot of people do look to this space as an avenue to find success now.
Yeah. I sorry to interrupt, but
Go
I'll
ahead.
ask. I also think there's a huge degree of psyop in the internet space because people think like streamers are rich. Most streamers get nothing and they just bought their views. And I actually think that a lot of streamers, even ones you can name, are broke. I personally believe most streamers are broke. I don't think any of them have any money. From what? Like from who? I mean, there was a time where these streaming platforms were paying kids like $25 million a year and all this. That's gone.
Yeah, when it first launched, talking about Kick specifically.
Yeah, all that gone. I don't think any of them are making any money. But yeah, people are at home and they see people on the internet and they're like, yeah, that's my dream. But I don't think that's the way. I think the true way to make money online is, of course, join my school because we teach you exactly how to do it and take advantage of the arbitrage between the generations. That's how you make money in the world today. And it's very difficult to make money nearly any other way.
So then maybe it's a selfish question, but how do you think you maintain relevancy as a creator?
Well, I'm lucky for a few reasons. Firstly, I think without trying to be arrogant, I'm legacy famous now. I could delete the internet. I'm going to get spotted forever. You know, I get told a lot that I'm the most famous man in the world. And I'm like, no way. I don't believe it. There was a time I was the most Googled man on the planet. And even very recently, someone said, you're the most famous man in the world. I said, no, I'm not.
Ronaldo?
Yeah, of course. I said, no, I'm not. I said, no, I'm not. And then this guy goes to me, do you know who Chinese Trump is? The Chinese guy who does the Trump impressions.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a legend. He's hilarious. I saw him and he was like, oh, they love you in China. They love me in China? I've broken the China wall. Isn't it the hardest wall to break? He goes, yeah, they love you in China. I was like, okay. And then I was with Steven Seagal's son. He goes, we love you in my school. You're the subject of all of our school lessons and our school reports. And Steven Seagal standing there like, you know, Steven's
God, yeah.
G, legend, bro. And his son's like, yeah, you're just, I did my school report on you. Everyone does our school report on you. And we always say, what color's your Bugatti? I'm like, where do you go to school? He goes, Ulaanbaatar. I'm like, Mongolia? He goes, yeah. Bro, everywhere I go, I can't walk down the street in Korea. I can't walk down the street in fucking Thailand. Everywhere I go, people come up to me. So I think I have that legacy fame, which is nice. And then secondly, the Matrix keeps giving me layups because they keep throwing bullshit my way and making the drama so interesting. The soap opera of Andrew Tate having his life destroyed is so interesting for everyone because I keep getting, they're trying to destroy me. And until they finally succeed, I think I'm just going to keep staying relevant because of them.
Yeah.
You know, what they should have done if they had half a brain and they weren't so emotional about it is try to inspire apathy amongst the population. They should just make everyone stop caring about me by stop mentioning me. But they can't. They have to mention me all the time trying to insult me. And it actually helps me, I think, in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And then third, I think the most important reason for why my brand still exists is that primarily my brand is designed to make people feel better about themselves, men at least.
Yeah.
I'm trying to validate men's feelings, saying that, yeah, you're a man and you're supposed to feel a certain way and you're allowed to get angry and no, it's not toxic and you have ambition. And yes, it's going to be difficult, but you can achieve it and you want to get these things done. And if you listen to me and you listen to the things I say, you see a tangible, real benefit in your everyday life all around you. So that's going to give you a different connection to me as a person or me or my brand than an entertainment brand.
Right.
If you watch a brand, which is just them being a clown and you're entertained, it's like, okay, I've passed some time.
It's almost like a hot girl. You're going to find the next one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas if you watch me and you do as I say, I mean, when people come up to me on the street, they don't say, wow, you're so funny. They come up to me and they say, you changed my life.
Yeah, I get
That's
that.
what they say.
I get it.
So I think that as long as my content stays focused in that way, there's always going to be some video that helps someone at some time.
Yeah.
And that's why I try my very best.
Because I would argue, man, when you had your gigantic rise to fame, you were that guy who, for the first time in a very long time, was like saying that men were like, "Whoa, I haven't heard this in 10 years."
Yeah, it's things that men were feeling but weren't allowed to say. So we had this huge amount of potential energy on the oppressed spirit of the entire masculine population around the earth. And then I stood up and said it, and everyone was like, "That's how I feel. I didn't know I was allowed to say that." He's right. And that's kind of where it came from. And you know, I'd like to believe I helped a lot of people. And I was just really saying things that we all already knew to be true.
Yeah.
But, you know, saying water is wet benefited me and it benefited the world. So I kept doing it. And it got me in a lot of trouble in the end because it turns out saying water is wet teaches men to stand up for themselves. And we've already discussed why that's such a big problem.
Right.
The last thing they want is men to stop being afraid of them. And a lot of men, most men in the world today are still afraid of them. For some reason, most men in the world are still afraid of the system. They're still afraid of being ostracized. They're still afraid of losing their job. They're still afraid. There's a bunch of men going to work tomorrow morning and they're scared that the HR department is going to call them in if they make a joke that is risky.
Yeah.
And that's their life. And they do that job and they go home to their sexless marriage and they have their kids who ignore them and they sit there in quiet desperation considering killing themselves, but they may as well pay off the mortgage first. And that's their life. And I know that's true. I absolutely know that's true because I actually learned everything I know about sexual dynamics and how desperate the life of men is from my webcam company, which I don't talk about that often, but I had a webcam company and I saw men literally sit on the internet with every spare second and every spare dollar they had just to have a girl give about them. And they weren't unsuccessful men because it's expensive.
Yeah.
They're successful men with wives and just sitting there talking to some girl on the other side of the world all day. It's sad.
Yeah.
But this is what teaches you about, like, why are these dudes so depressed? They're successful. He's a pilot and he lives in Oregon. Why does his life suck so bad? And then my cam girl is telling me how his life sucks so bad and that he gave her all his money. I'm just like, bro, is this people's lives? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, what the? And it's worse now because this was all way before OnlyFans. The kind of sums I was making was nothing compared to the sums that are being sent on OnlyFans.
Oh man, yeah.
And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on with the world? Like, this is just a complete implosion of the things that made society function, primarily men and women being in love with each other and a value exchange. And he protects and provides. I serve him and give him children. You know, he gives me money so that I give him his children. Like, now that girls just want money for no reason, or they're getting money for no reason. OnlyFans is all just being sent to them, and they're taking pictures of the. And you know what? The girls who do OnlyFans and make $100 million in a year and all this stupid, I'm not sure that's real, but even if it is real, well, that makes sense. I mean, let's be honest. If you're going to take pictures of your tits and get 50M, cool. But there's a whole bunch of girls, 99.9% of girls on OnlyFans are taking pictures of their pussy for fucking pennies.
Yeah.
They're selling their pussy for 99 cents, bro.
Yeah.
It's just embarrassing and gay.
It's the worst. Oh,
It's
man,
just,
I think
the world is so toast.
Yeah.
You know, it's and then why do they do it? Well, they do it because they're doing it until they find a man who will pay their bills, I guess. I put a tweet up that got me in a whole bunch of trouble. I said every single woman's a sex worker. Some just have one customer called a husband. But but women have always used sex to their advantage.
Yeah,
and
as old as time.
Of course. And in the world where they only care about money and not children, what are they going to use it for? So they're all just some form of either digital hooker or sugar baby or, you know, full-time professional girlfriend from dude to dude to dude to dude. Is that really any different than a hooker? If you're getting with men to pay all your bills and buy and do your nails and buy you handbags, and the second you break up with a guy, you find another guy with money to continue to fund your lifestyle. That's just having one customer at a time.
Yeah. And then always saying they want love.
Oh, yeah. They all want love. Of course they want love at the end. Of course.
Yeah.
But like, the world's so completely in toast. It's crazy.
Do you think men and women could be friends?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think men and women can be friends, because if you're a man with any kind of testosterone level, I don't understand why you'd want to even be friends with a woman. Because your friends are supposed to have utility. Like, my friends are useful. They can do things with me or for me. And my women who I'm with romantically are useful. They can do things with me or for me. But what utility is a female friend? She can't fight. She's not going to protect me on the street if we're walking down the street. She has no business ideas. She has nothing. She's going to expect me to pay for it.
Yeah.
If something happens, I have to protect her. I've asked this before, and they go, well, I can give advice. Any dude taking advice from a fucking chick who he ain't even banging needs to himself. Just commit suicide. Get it over with. If you go to a female for advice and you're not even having sex with her at least, and you're going to listen to anything she says, just blow your brains out. Your life's over. So there's no advice. They have no utility. They have nothing to give you. So why would you be friends with a woman when you're giving it all and receiving nothing back? There has to be a value exchange. So I don't see why men and women should be friends. Women are getting attention and validation from this man who they clearly know wants to be more than friends.
Yeah, it's also silly because a guy would never approach a woman and be like, I think we'd be good friends. Like they're approaching women because they find them attractive.
I'm going to use that line to be funny.
It's true.
Of course.
Yeah. I mean, what guy goes, oh, that chick looks like she'd be a really good friend to me? Not one. I don't know one dude ever that is like, I think we'd be good friends.
Oh, yeah. The whole thing's ridiculous. And women who say, oh, he's just my friend, he doesn't like me, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They just love
the little satellites in case something doesn't work out over here.
Look, women need constant and endless validation. We all need constant and endless validation, but men seek validation because of our competence or our capability. We want to be respected because of our power, whether physical, financial, whatever. We want validation too, but women only want validation for how they look. That's what they want. So if they can get as much free validation as possible without having to give the pussy out, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the basic exchange, right? Men give attention to get sex, and women give sex to get attention. That's how it used to work. I'm going to give this man sex so that he's interested in me. And we used to give her attention so we can get the sex. That's how it worked.
Yeah.
But now women can get attention without giving the sex via social media and these other things. And that's why their egos are through the roof. I've seen these average ass mid talk about what they deserve in a man, and I am flabbergasted. I am just like, what planet are you on? And the funny thing is, they never get it, right? The girls who sit on these podcasts and they're like, I'm a 9, she's a 6. I want a man who makes $1 million a year, and he better be nice to me. And then she leaves the podcast and goes to some broke dude who gives her half a bag of weed, and they're all over the place. I mean, these girls are retards. They don't even stick to their own stupid, unrealistic crap. If they said this shit on the podcast and at least tried to adhere to it, I'd actually respect them more.
Yeah, there's that one girl who's like talks about empowering women, and she's like a side chick to some married guy.
Sadia Khan.
Yeah. So interesting.
I know her quite well, so I have to be careful.
Okay,
I have to be careful what I say.
Sorry,
no. I'm just saying I have something to say, but I'm probably not going to say it. But
fair.
But yeah, these girls, they have these unrealistic expectations, and then they just go and completely break it. But the fact they even have the gall to say these things publicly is truly remarkable to me. But that's just because of the amount of attention and validation they're constantly getting online, the amount of swipes and matches they constantly and endlessly get, the options they all have. Plus, the algorithm is psyoping them into believing that that's the right thing to say. Women always adhere to the group consensus. Plus, they see some other who's a 6 getting a whole bunch of roses in Dubai from some fat old dude who has too much money, so they believe they can pull it off. Yeah. And all this psyop is just constantly in their ear. And the man they would have married only a generation ago, who works in the factory down the road, doesn't stand a chance with them. Yeah. Or the man who's her own age, who she went to school with, who she would have had sex with a generation ago, or perhaps married as a high school sweetheart, he stands no chance. Instead, she's sitting there trying to get a billionaire, and if she can't get a billionaire to be excited, then she goes, well, I can't find a man with money to excite me. The next exciting thing is danger. Let me just go over to Compton and bend over for Tyrone and get pounded by him. At least this is exciting, because that guy down the road in the factory ain't exciting. I need dopamine. I'm addicted to TikTok. I don't want to have it. It's a mess, bro.
It's cooked.
We're cooked, bro. It's like the whole world's over. All the traditional social contract of woman meets dude and they live in a small town and they have a nice little family and buy a nice little house is completely gone. Yeah. And you know, we talked about being famous at 20 and how that would suck. I think being 20 now would suck full stop. I remember being 20 and the girls who were 20, I could actually bang. Like now, how the f- are you going to do that? Because the 20 and 21-year-olds are in Dubai on boats. And so I don't, they're in my penthouse, bro. I'm like, how old are you? 22. I'm like, you're 22. Where are you from? Lithuania. I'm like, your parents, when did you fly to Dubai? You're from Lithuania. You're 22. Yeah. When did your parents let you go? I'm 22. What do you mean parents? I'm like, parents. What do you mean? What do I mean? You're a kid. What the f you doing here? Like, it's crazy. Like, and they're just, I'm like, the 22-year-old Lithuanian making $200 a month. What hope does he have? Like, it's over. It's so cooked. Everything is so now globalized, especially the dating market. And these women are just, there's like 4 cities, LA, Miami, Dubai. There's like 4 cities on the earth with all the world's pussy. And they're all there just like, give me money, give me money, give me money. It's nuts.
Yeah.
I don't know how anything functions anymore.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know how it's all going to end up, but it's certainly being pushed and perpetrated by the Matrix because it results in less and less kids.
Yeah, it's the sad part of it.
That's the super sad part. And not many people are real enough to do what me and Tristan do, which is just impregnate a whole bunch of women. Because Brad, between you and me, people often say, Andrew, how many women you got kids with? And in private, I tell them, and they're like, whoa.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, they're like, whoa. But if you have kids with another woman, don't they get mad? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, oh, so what do you do? Nothing. I'm like, yeah, but what do you do when she gets mad? Nothing. Like, she hasn't got hands, bro. What do you mean? Like, what do you mean? What do you do when they get mad? Are you scared she's going to come and beat you up? Is your girlfriend beating you up? Is that what are you asking me? She gets mad. It's already done. So I'm like, yeah. Why did you do that? I don't really like answering questions. It's done now. You want to leave? You can leave.
Yeah.
Or you can stay. I mean, we can be happy. The only person ruining this relationship right now is kind of you. Because yes, I've had the baby, but we don't have to have this whole big drama fit. We could just hug it out. Yeah. I'm still paying your bills. We can go to bed together. I'll play with your tits in 5 minutes. I'm about to finish work. Everything's great. You're ruining our relationship. Stop complaining. You know?
Yeah.
And then dudes just don't get it. And then they're like, yeah, but man, that's crazy. So why do you want kids with all these women? Why would I let one random female I meet decide how many children I have? Why would I limit my genetic progeny? Why would I limit my echo into eternity? Because one random chick I meet is gonna cry. To me, it's flabbergasting that other men aren't thinking the same.
Yeah.
I had kids with you. I love you very much. I had kids with her. Why? Because I could. And I'm a man. And men procreate. because I'm the big gorilla. That's why. You
Well,
can
it
cry and leave.
It goes back to the idea that, like, you know, we've been essentially sort of sold or taught or shown that, like, we should be in a marriage, we should be in a certain thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting, really, because it's feminism and women that broke that contract. Let's not forget that the whole contract of man, woman, marriage, stick together, have children was in the 1950s and 1960s heavily accepted across the West. And even men couldn't step out of their marriage without being ostracized. Even if a man cheated, the church would be unhappy at him in the 1950s, 1960s. Men and women were together. But then women said, I don't want to listen to no man. I don't want to be given a husband at 18. I don't want to be told what to do. I don't want to have kids. I want to make my own choices. So we said, okay, you can make your own choices. Then they all chose the same guy, me.
Yeah.
So
to get money.
Congratulations. Like, I'm on the internet on your podcast telling them what I'm going to do. I'm going to have kids with every single that I want to have kids with. You think it's going to stop me? You think it's going to change anything? This is not a secret. I'm not like famoosing them.
Yeah.
I'm here on the internet. Hi, I do whatever the fuck I want. And they're just like, oh, I love you so much. Oh my God, he did whatever the fuck he wants. I can't believe it. Like, if you're at a certain status, you can do anything. People often say, you know, you can't cheat on a girl, she'll leave. That's a lie. You can cheat as much as you want, just don't go broke. You go broke, she'll leave. If you're rich, she ain't going nowhere because then she has to find another man with the same kind of or more money than you. And at a certain status, they just like, oh, fuck it.
Yeah.
It's just too much work to leave. Who am I going to even replace this guy with? Then I have to watch his face on the algo for the rest of human time. You know, like flaunting his money. Like, it's like, oh, I'll just say, but please don't do it again. Like, fine, I will not have any more kids.
Have you ever been in love?
Yeah, of course. But being in love is never going to stop me doing what I know to be true and right. This is a genuine question, and I have this for white people the most because I'm trying to inspire you all to save civilization because, you know, you built the rule of law. We kind of need you. I have black family members. I know how late they are to everything. It's a nightmare. Please, white people, come back. But just because I love a chick doesn't mean I'm going to be like, okay, now I don't have, to me, it really is a flabbergasting ideal that my genetic progeny will be limited because I'm in love with a woman. I'll say, look, I love you with all of my heart. I truly love you and I want to be together forever, but I'm in the business of kings and kings have children. You can leave if you so desire.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm going to do. It's like a chick trying to tell you, if you were in love with a girl and she said, never train again, get fat and ugly, would you do it?
No.
Of course. Because I love you, but I love myself.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I love myself too much to stop these. Like, no, but I'm Brad.
That's so funny, though.
But Brad,
sorry,
it's amazing to me when I see other famous people. They're like, yeah, my wife, I love my wife. We have kids, my wife. I'm just like, this must be a white people thing. I don't get it. It must be for white people, and I'm glad it works for you guys. But to me, it's flat. I don't understand why you don't just have. If you love your wife and your kid, then have more wives. You love money, get more money. You love cars, buy more cars. You love your wife and your kid, get more wives and kids. Like, what's the complication about this? Like, to me, it's a very, very simple thing to do. Works for me. And the question I'm always asked in private is, but how do you get away with it? Like I described earlier, I'm like, you just do it. And they either stay or they leave. Sometimes they leave, it's true. But, you know, real come and go. It is what it is. If she's the one for you and she truly believes in you, then she ain't going to go nowhere.
Yeah.
What can you do? I mean, hopefully in the future, when Elon's on Mars as forever god of the human race and whatever, that they'll finally speed up having babies. But if you're going to take 9 months to grow one single baby, bro, so I don't have 9 months to grow a single baby. Maybe. Bro, that's nothing. You know what the coldest line I've ever heard is? I shouldn't tell this because this is Tristan's story to tell. Tristan has double-digit children from a whole bunch of women. And anyway, he got this new girlfriend, and she was a little haughty from, I can't remember, Estonia or something, or Lithuania, one of them countries. Some beautiful girl, and he was hanging around with her all the time, blah, blah, blah. And he took her to a restaurant, and I remember we were at the house, and his baby mama calls, and he answers, and she's like, I see you with this girl always out with this. Tristan's like, fucking, is this why you called me? What the is this? And she goes, why you don't take me out to the restaurant? You know I wanted to go to that restaurant. I sent you the link to that restaurant, and you took her. Tristan goes, you really want to go on a date? She goes, yes, I want to go on a date. And he goes, I don't date women with kids.
Oh my God, bro. There's no way.
I swear to God. And I have never laughed so hard
There's no
in my life. I was like, Tristan, that's your kid. And he just sits there with his cigarette. I swear to God, it was the most gangster line I've ever heard anyone deliver ever. And it was so unexpected. So Tristan tells all the mothers of his children he doesn't date women with kids and dates new ones without kids.
Jesus.
Really funny. But what they gonna do? What they gonna do? Leave? I mean, they need their bills paid, and he's a good dad. Like, they can cry a bit, but they get over it, and life goes on. And me and the mothers of my kids all get on well. Life goes on. I think in America it would actually be, to be honest with you, a lot harder to do what we do, because I think the women here are so morally corrupted that they would literally just try and take her kid from you and shit. But if you get a woman who's half good, and you're like, look, okay, I'm a man, I do man things, but your bills are paid, and I want to see the child. I love you. I've never had any problems. I've never had a woman once say to me, you can't see your kid, ever. And maybe part of that is also because they know me so well that if they say that, they're going to regret it, because I am so stubborn.
Yeah.
You can't see your kid. You know what? I'm going to make sure that comes true. I'm going to have so many kids. I can have a whole bunch more. You're right. I'm not going to see the kid. When the child's 18, I'm going to explain to them that you did this. You did this. I wanted to be the father. I wanted to be there. You forced me to have 38 other children with these 37 other women because I wanted to come over and see my kid, but you wouldn't let me. So we're going to talk to the kid when they're 18. Bye. And within a week, they'll be begging me, please come see your kid. I'm like, no, she said no, so I'm not going to come now. I'm stubborn and petty. I'm petty. Bro, certain level of money, there's nothing more funny than being petty. Like Trump is taking Greenland because they didn't give him the Nobel Peace Prize. That's funny. Have you seen that? Yeah. The Norwegians didn't give him the Nobel Peace Prize. So he's saying to Norway, should have gave me the medal. You didn't give me the little piece of metal, so I'm going to go take Greenland.
Insane.
No, but it's funny. You gotta be petty if you're rich. It's one of the funniest things you can do. So I would love the mothers of one of my kids to try and tell me I couldn't see my kid, because I would make that dream come true. I would make that dream come true, and they would regret it. I'd buy the house next door and move another family in there and see them every day. She'd see me pull up in my Bugatti every day next door. Give a bro. I think like I can't make a new kid. It's easy. I can make kids all day. That's why I'm doing it. I don't have to carry them around. I don't have to breastfeed them. I ain't gonna do. You're gonna have sex with girls anyway. It's to all the men out there. You're having sex with girls anyway. Why the not get a kid at the end of it? How gay? I say having sex with women for fun is gay. And everyone gets mad at me on Twitter, like, oh, what do you mean? They don't understand. That's gay. Like, if I'm going to have sex with you, there needs to at least be a chance that maybe a baby comes. It doesn't happen every time, but if it does come, it's a blessing. That's good.
Yeah.
But to have sex deliberately trying to make sure there's no baby seems gay to me.
Yeah, I get it.
It just seems a bit gay. I don't know how else to explain it.
Fair. That's fair.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
But has there ever been a girl that you loved more? This might get you in trouble.
Girl I love more than who?
There's
You know
there's not one that sends out, you're like, damn, I actually learned something from that one. Because women, I'm not.
Well, what do you love more, a fork, a knife, or a spoon?
Depends what I'm eating. Yeah.
So it depends if I'm home chilling, depends if I'm sick, depends if I'm on holiday, depends if I'm going driving, depends if I want to have fun, depends if I want to have a serious conversation, depends.
Serious conversation.
I have a large drawer of utensils, and it depends what I'm doing.
Serious conversation.
I can't say the name.
Of course not. Yeah.
But like, depending on the scenario I'm in, depends which girl's my favorite at that time. So it's not like there's a one favorite and all the rest suck, because it depends on the scenario. So it's just like I have a Swiss Army knife.
Has a girl that you've
You know what? I will tell you something really funny though.
Okay.
The police, when they were trying to make all my girls turn on me, they built a league table of how much I spent on each girl.
A league table?
Yeah, they built like a football scoreboard of how much I spent on each girl. So they worked out where I spent certain time with certain girls, and they put them in order of money.
Wow, that is
bro
crazy.
So they were dragging girls in saying, like, you're number 6. He doesn't even care about you. He took her here. He took her there. He gives her this much allowance. He spent that much on her. He bought her this present. He spent double on her that he spends on you. Why are you defending him?
That is insane. There's no way that's real.
That's the Romanian decal. And the reason they did that is because they know women care about more than anything else. Women care about money. So they got a league table of money spent and tried to get the girls lower in the league table to turn on me.
That's Crazy.
You should have seen what I was. It's so funny because I tried to.
I'm trying to figure out who was at the top. You know, that's the funniest thing to me.
You know, I probably shouldn't say this on the podcast, but I told like 6 they were at the top.
It's like the Drake, like, yo, best I ever had.
I told them
This song's about you, I swear.
Yeah, I was like, you won't believe what happened at the police. They did this league table. Da, da, da. She's like, no way. I'm like, yeah, and because you were at the top. Da, da, da. She's like, well, really? I'm like, yeah, because you're at the top. These girls are all so mad. She's like, listen, I love you. I just want you to know I love you. Don't worry,
Yo,
even if they
you're
turn
so-
on you, we'll get through this. I'm doing the same phone call on repeat to like 16. Why do I bust myself? I don't know why I even expose
that's
myself.
so funny.
Oh,
man.
fuck it. But no, yeah, sorry. But yeah, I had to tell them. I had to tell all the ones there at the top, of course, because they're gonna ask, right? So I had to slip it in the conversation early before they asked
Dude,
me.
you're hilarious.
But yeah, so the police know that women only care about money. So the police basically agree with my tweet that all women are sex workers. You know, like you stop giving me sex, I stop giving you money. Welcome to the world, friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. This
But
is how it
has there
works.
ever been a girl that has taught you something?
I think that women are a mirror and that they can teach you things about yourself based on how you act towards them. I think that's true.
Yeah.
Women are a fantastic mirror in all ways. They're a fantastic mirror in the positive and the negative. If you want to know how the world views you, or you want to find out the image you give across to the planet, if you want to see how you're really perceived, just go talk to girls. You can see, because, you know, the difference between sexual harassment and a wife is simply the vibe and image you give off. You can say the same things. It's not even the words. You've all seen that meme, right?
Yeah.
The fat guy says it, and then the good looking guy says it, and there's a completely different reaction. So women are a fantastic mirror. If you really think you're the man, then go talk to a beautiful woman. Let's see how she talks to you. So I think that women teach you things because they reflect, you know, the vibe you give off. And I think that's very important. I think a lot of people don't pay attention to those lessons, though. Like if a woman leaves you, you need to work out why, and you need to be a man about it and blame yourself. And you need to change that thing so that you can be less leavable in future. You need to adjust so that you retain and remain as capable as possible. It's just feedback from a woman. If a woman leaves you and you start crying your eyes out, she left me. Why? She's a cheater and she some other guy. Wah, wah, wah. I'm gonna say, okay, but why? How did you fuck up? Because you can't control her, but you can control you. So if you blame yourself for it, you can try and prevent it happening again in future.
Yeah.
But most people don't look at relationships that way. So I think that women are a fantastic teacher for a man, yes, but I think it's mainly just feedback based on how you act. To be
Yeah.
honest with you.
It's a
And you-
radical accountability.
radical accountability. It's exactly perfect. And you can learn about yourself and what you can get away with and what you can't get away with, etc. Like I say all these things and I'm being funny, but I completely understand that women wouldn't be putting up with me unless I also provided them a fantastic life.
Yeah.
Why the would they put up with me if they didn't get a fantastic life? But everything in the world is a value exchange. To sit and say those girls are just gold diggers is also disingenuous. It's not
Yeah.
true. It's a value exchange. A girl sits there and goes, okay, this is annoying and bad, but this is good. You know, if you can add enough good to the pile, then you get away with more bad. This is how it works with everything.
Everything.
Everything
Yeah.
in the planet. So, and also the other thing that's really interesting, I think that people don't understand with understand with women, is that very much like business, time is money. If you're broke, you have to be at home with your chick all day, every day, or she'll cheat. But if you have money, you can say, I'm busy, I'm working. Your rent's paid, stay in this weekend. Okay, I'll stay in. Text me. Time and money are interchangeable. So if you have a whole bunch of money, you can use less time on them. And if you use less time on one, you have more time for all of them. So then you get a bunch. That's how it works. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, but like the dating market that we're currently living in, even though women constantly complain about it, women built it. Women decided they wanted to make their own choices, and women chose polygamy. You know, here in the West, we all say that people who have more than one wife are crazy, and that the Arab world that makes no sense. Polygamy makes far more sense than what we have now. The world would be a better place if I want 4 girlfriends, I had to marry them all, and I had to take care of them all, and they had to share me, and they knew they were sharing me, and that was their relationship dynamic. Because in the West, we have 4 women sharing one man, pretending they're not sharing him, while all knowing he's secretly cheating, and he has no obligation to take care of any of them. So how is that better?
I see.
You know, at least in the Arab world, okay, there's honesty and there's an obligation from the man's side. Here in the West, you have an obligation to a chick if you want to keep her in a relationship because they all want money. But you can f girls for free all day long. Fucking next.
Yeah.
It's cheaper to f new ones than it is to keep one. You know, so bro, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's like the Western world is so on its head, it's so toasted. And I said on Fresh and Fit the other day when I did it, I said, actually, the biggest psyop that's destroying happy relationships is that women are obsessed with this monogamy crap because they've been psyoped by the algos. And they need to let men cheat in peace and stop all the fucking arguing. Because this endless bullshit monogamy trap that women are constantly trying to force men into is just unnatural and never going to happen. Men aren't going to be monogamous like they want them to be, ever. So you're going to get with a man, he's going to cheat, you're going to break up with him, get with another man, he's going to cheat, you're going to break up with him, get with another man, and with 10 dicks in, now you're a whore. Like, whether you want to be or not, your heart's gone because you fell in love too many times,
Right,
you
I
got
see what you're
heartbroken
saying,
too many
yeah.
times. So you become cold inside.
Yeah.
And now you literally had no intention of being a hoe. In fact, your intention was to try and find a man who was loyal.
Yeah.
Because your belief that loyalty is sexual exclusivity when it's not. Loyalty is putting up with your crap and paying your bills, actually. A man can be he can be with a lot of women sexually, but if he's taking care of you, he's loyal to you. Because he doesn't have to take care of you, because he can just fuck you off and fuck them.
Yeah. I
So
see what you're saying.
women have the complete wrong idea of loyalty. They're chasing loyalty, end up sluts. So if you want women to not be sluts in the West, you need to tell them to allow their man to cheat in peace. Like, make sure he's taking care of you, make sure he pays your bills, and be a good woman, and pretend to not notice. And let him do his thing. He'll love you more for it, Bradley. He'll love you more for it. If you go to the gym and they're like, how's your chick? You say, you know what the best thing about her is? I go out, I don't tell her where I'm going. I come back like 3 hours later. She doesn't even fucking ask. She's just happy. You know, I love her. She's the best. You want your man to love you, let him cheat and stop nagging. It ain't going to stop him anyway. The nagging doesn't stop him. He just has to lie more creatively. You know, I'm at the gym.
No. Don't put this on me. Don't put this on me.
All that crap off. You know, just all that off and be a good woman and shut the fuck up.
I get it.
Yeah, you did.
I get it.
I'm right. And that's actually why a lot of these Western girls end up the way they are, because they're chasing something completely unrealistic. Have you ever watched Chimp Empire?
No. What the fuck is that?
You need to watch Chimp Empire. It's epic.
What is it on, like Discovery or some shit?
Yeah, it's about like gorillas. So they have 10 male gorillas and 10 female gorillas, and they're living together. It's like a pride of gorillas, and they're documenting them. And it turns out that gorillas are real, because the alpha gorilla in the group, it's not 10 pairs of couples. It's not 10 male gorillas, 10 female gorillas, 10 happy couples. No, it's one male gorilla with all 10 and 9 gorillas with no hose. And those 9 gorillas with no hose try and like beef the big gorilla, but he ain't having it.
Yeah.
And he'll just bust them up quickly and get all his hose in a pile and just stand there with all the chicks, and all these little beta males are standing there looking at him. And he's like, do something. What are you going to do? And they're all scared of him because he runs the pride. This is humans, by the way.
Minus the money.
Yeah,
it's just the power.
Well, it's the power.
Right.
Yeah, so and money is a form of power. If you have money, you can compensate for not having physicality. But if you have a little bit of money, a little bit of physicality, a little bit of social status, they can all add up to tons of power, right? It's all different levels. But then it's funny because when the big alpha gorilla gets the gorilla pregnant and she has a baby, he can't be bothered. So then he gives her to the beta, and the beta becomes a stepdad.
Oh my God.
and I'm watching Chimp Empire. I'm sitting there with my 3 girls on the couch, just watching this. And she's like, the girl goes, what would you do if like the mothers of one of your kids, like they got a new boyfriend? I'm like, who the wants to be a stepdad to my kid? Imagine raising Andrew Tate's kid. Like, that would blow, bro.
Yeah.
You know what? I'd probably let him. I'd be like, bro, I don't know how much you hate yourself, but enjoy. Like, go for it. I was like, and I was watching all these beta male gorillas be stepdads, and I was just sitting there like, is this human? Is this humanity? I don't know. Is this how it works? And then the alpha male gorilla eventually grows old, and he keeps fighting and trying to like beat everyone up, but eventually he grows old and he can't anymore, and he can't beat him up, and then all his leave him, and he sits there with no hose.
Oh.
Yeah, the gorilla sits there with no hose. He's old.
But he did his time.
Yeah, but he had his time. In his prime, he run it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know? So this is what I'm saying to the guys at home. If it's your prime right now, don't be letting some woman psyop you. You'll be old one day. No, you got to run it now. So he runs it the best he can. He gets old. He loses his hose. All the other gorillas start threatening him. They remember when he used to beat them up. And then he walks off into the forest to die by himself.
But at least he got the progeny out.
You
That's
see,
it.
the Matrix is trying to kill me, Brad.
Yeah, I get it.
I
It
gotta
all
get-
makes sense now.
Okay, so I gotta get some done.
Yeah, I get
right?
it.
So I don't have time to be sitting around talking about let's get married. I'll give you as many kids as you want. It'll only take 15 years. I don't have time for any of that. What I do have time for is a beautiful young lady is now pregnant because I had sex with her. I'll pay her bills. It's fine. Oh, you're upset about it. That's also fine because I don't have to reply to you.
Yeah.
So you spam my phone that I ignore. You get your rent paid, and I continue being the alpha gorilla along my way until they shoot me in the head.
Yeah.
That's my basic plan.
Or until you walk off into the jungle.
Until I walk off into the jungle. Yeah, I
Fair.
mean, like, it is what it is. And I like to remind all the girls that it's feminism that built this world.
Yeah,
You
I hear
built
it.
this world. I would have been stuck with one wife, high school sweetheart, unable to do any of this until you women decided you wanted independence. And now you've built this world. If you women are going to sit on the internet and say that broke men don't deserve women, then what you're really saying is that rich men deserve all the women. If you're saying a broke man can't get pussy, you're saying a rich man can get all the pussy he wants. You're saying that.
Yeah, it's the inverse.
I'm just
Absolutely.
playing the game.
Yeah.
I'll let you girls make the rules.
And that's like pretty much what's said.
Of course it is.
I've seen it.
Every single woman will say broke men don't deserve women. So you're saying rich men deserve all the women. Cool. There's very few rich men. There's a whole bunch of women. That's fine. It's fine by me. You made the rules of the
I'll
game.
play the game.
I'm just
Fuck
playing
it.
the game.
Yeah.
Right? So I know on my deathbed, when I have all of my children around me, I'm not going to sit there and go, son, I remember when I had you, this other cried. So I regret you being here. What the I'm not going to give a single solitary.
Yeah.
My son's here.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to have to boss it. Is what it is.
I gotta go pee real quick.
I'm just bossing it, bro.
All right. So on that note, kind of talking about dying. What is your belief about what happens when you die?
I'd like to believe that we live somewhere else. That's a fantastic thought to have, but it's hard to guess what's going to happen. So it's better to operate in the certainty. And the certainty is that your actions here will echo into eternity and that your children are a link to the future. And your primary objective should be to replicate yourself to the best of your ability and perhaps improve yourself. So I don't know what happens when I die, besides the fact that people are going to remember me, which is nice.
Oh, I was going to ask, how do you also think people are going to remember you?
I'll be remembered, but I don't think I'll be remembered for very long because I think that once again, the world is sped up to the point now where even a news cycle is basically 2 hours. I mean, unless you go to a club and play a song, then it's 4 days. Ridiculous. Bro, they're talking about a song playing in a club longer than they talked about them trying to blow out Trump's brain. They tried to kill Trump and it got less traction. He got shot and within 24 hours, no one cared. They're still complaining about a song in a nightclub 4 days later.
How long do you think they're going to complain about it?
Well, considering that it's artificially being pumped to try and destroy my life as long as it takes. I mean, they still complain. I said women couldn't drive 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's a setup by the Matrix. But yeah, I think that I'm definitely going to be remembered. But love is your link to the future. That is the beautiful thing about children. Really, when you have enough kids, you don't fear dying anymore. It's kind of amazing how humans have prepared themselves, or psychologically, your body prepares itself for the worst thing that can happen, which is death. And that happens once you have enough kids. Once you look at the number of children you have and you go, yeah, that's enough, a strange sense of peace overcomes you. Why are parents so prepared to jump in front of things for their kids? It's weird. It's like, oh, I'm done now. I've done my bit. It's like a biological thing. It's very strange.
Yeah.
So as long as my link to the future is here, then I'm not too concerned with how I'm remembered or what happens. I know that my sons will remember me, and as will my daughters, but you're not supposed to say this, but you have a very different relationship with your sons and your daughters. You're not supposed to say it, but it's true. And I love my daughters with all of my heart.
Yeah.
But, the Tate name lives through the boys.
Yeah.
So you need to have the boys. And having boys and girls is so different as well. It's such a different relationship. Like having girls is actually in many ways a lot more fun because it's so lighthearted. You get to have fun and play games and you carry them around and they're a princess and it's all fun. Whereas when you have a boy, well, me at least, I'm just pissed all the time. I'm like, what do you mean you can't do push-ups? You're 3.
Nah, you're trolling. You're trolling. You're trolling.
0%
You're trolling. You're trolling.
Bro, when my son comes over, I've got videos on Twitter. In fact, I retweeted one today. You can find it right now, producer. Go to my Twitter account. You can find it. When my son comes over, he's 5 years old, and there is no fun involved. When my daughter comes over and she's 5, it's a fun time. We have a bunch of fun.
Is the idea that you're preparing him for the actual real world?
Absolutely, because life fucking sucks, bro.
Yeah.
Fuck the bee. We're not scared of the
Bees
bee.
can't hurt you. We're men. We're not scared.
Understand?
Understand.
He said he was scared of bees. And then I just click and make him do squats and punches for hours.
Dude, people are going to see us and be like, this is abuse.
Oh, I'll give a... Oh, just, yeah. What are you going to do? You're going to call the Romanian Child Protective Services don't exist. So good luck. Down, up, then punch. Don't punch when you're moving. Understand?
Understand.
With my daughter, it's none of this shit. My daughter is princess time.
Real question, though. Do you do this because it's on camera or do you do this off camera?
This is all I do with him. Because if I see him like having too much fun, I'm like, what the f? You're a boy. You're a man.
You don't want him to have fun?
No, I don't want him to have fun, but I don't want a homo.
Yo. So you don't think kids just be kids at some point?
Yeah, but like there's something, it's really weird when you have a son. But like there's something giddish and a little bit girlish. Like, yeah. So what the f are you doing? You're my son. What are you doing?
But isn't that you putting your sort of like psyche into like a child?
If you saw a full grown man jumping up and down having fun, you'd be like, what the f are you doing?
Well, we're talking about a full grown man. We're
of
talking about your
course.
child.
And what's he soon about to be?
Well, he's got some time.
But we have to prepare him for this,
Yeah,
Bradley.
he's gotta
so
be-
it's just like, no, he can have fun if he's like play fighting or something. But if he comes over the house and he's just like wasting time, it just annoys me. I'm like, you clearly have nothing better to do.
Yeah, but it's like you're talking to him like he's an adult, like he needs to pay bills.
Bro, wait till you have a son.
Okay, fair.
And you know, I've had a lot of people say to me, you can't do that. You can't do that. Your son can fight my son anytime. Age for age. Get your 5-year-old. We get my 5-year-old. We see who's a better parent. Let's go. 10, whatever. I've got sons of all different ages. You find your kid who sits there playing iPad and jumping around like a little girl, and we'll get my boy and we'll fight him. If you win, then I'll save my time and stop the training.
Kid fighting?
The discipline, yeah, for sure. The discipline's good for him. What the else is he gonna do? When my daughter comes, she can jump around. She can be a princess. She can run up and down. She can cry. She can demand that she wants still water, not sparkling water, whatever. That motherfucker can't do nothing but obey.
I know the she wanted still that sent you.
Yeah.
That sent you.
I was close. I nearly had her doing
My
squats.
daughter will not drink still
I nearly
water.
had her doing squats. But that's why having daughters is more fun. But having sons is just straight militant for me. I get mad if he ain't doing what he's supposed to do as a man.
But he's
But you know,
a
no,
kid.
but you know, Bradley, this is so important because before I had children, I used to see kids misbehave. And I'd say, my kids will never misbehave. And people would say, you wait till you have kids. You're going to be so soft. Wait till you have kids. And I said,
I've heard it.
I said, no, I won't. Yeah, you're going to, when you see your kids, you're going to see kids don't behave. They're kids. Biggest Western psyop cope bull.
Interesting.
My kids obey like I am God. They fear me and not fear me unhealthily. They fear me healthily like you're supposed to fear a father. If I say to my son, sit down and be quiet, he's going to sit there and be quiet. I can sit him down for 3 hours, no iPad, no phone, no TV. Sit, don't move. And he's going to sit and not move. They've seen it. You sit there like this because I said so. He's going to obey me. He's 5 and he will obey like a soldier. And I see all these other people's kids run around like retards. And they try and blame the fact that they're a retard on the fact that they're a kid instead of just accepting that the reason the kid's doing that is because they're a shit parent. Your kids will obey you and they'll listen.
Yeah,
as long as the woman, the mother, doesn't give them a way out. If the mom is like, don't, Dad, I'm sorry, then they're going to play the game. But if the mom is also like, your dad said so,
yeah,
then I'm telling you, my kids will be perfectly silent. My kids ain't crying on a plane. When I see all these kids crying on planes, it's not my children.
Oh man, that's like my least favorite thing to hear.
Don't cry, I said. And so all these other parents are just literally letting their kids be little. And you wonder why the world's, do you wonder why everyone's a retard? Well, they were raised to be retards. My kid understands discipline and he understands knowing when to be quiet. He knows what he can and can't get away with. All of these things. All of the things that I was told for the longest time I'd never be able to pull off. I'm trying to tell the world you can actually pull it off. And you know what inspires me the most? I sit his ass down and I load up videos of boys his own age in fucking China doing that kung fu shit in sync with all the other boys. And I say, look, he's your age. You're worried about some squats. This motherfucker doing backflips in perfect sync with the 100 other Chinese kids. You can't even do kung fu, you idiot. Your dumbass doesn't even know kung fu.
Yeah,
it's
you're
true. It's true. It's like, you better go learn some kung fu.
You're so fucking.
So now he's in kung fu lessons. Brad, do you think I'm joking? He's in kung fu lessons. He must know the way of Shaolin.
I get it.
What happens when China takes over the world and Ching Chang turns up and he doesn't even know kung fu? He's going to lose.
He's got to be prepared.
He's going to be ready. Haven't you seen the movies?
Yeah, it's crazy.
China's going to take over.
Yeah, it seems that way.
And all us the Western parents are walking around going, well, I can't tell my 9-year-old to not scream.
Yeah, no, that
like
is
retarded.
That is ridiculous, though.
And that's the whole Western world. And that's why they grow into passive-aggressive, feminine little pieces like Sneaky, who just make fun of their own friends.
Oh, no.
Because they're dipshits. If they ever had any genuine discipline in their life, they'd sit there and go, well, this is not the way of man. This is not the code of men. You know? Yeah. So, yeah, having girls is very, very fun. But having boys is extremely serious business. So I'm actually glad I have both.
Yeah.
But to carry the Tate name, it has to be the boys, of course.
Is there any one of your boys that is like you see most of yourself in?
You know what's so weird? The weirdest thing about having children is it truly is incredible how genetics work. So the first thing I'm going to say, which I'm not supposed to say, which is going to upset the world because it's not politically correct, but
Fair.
Is how much you like the mom or how well you're getting along with the mom definitely reflects on the kid.
So, like how the kid develops?
No. Like if you and the mom are getting along great and have a good relationship, you and the kid get along great and have a good relationship. But if the mom's being a complete prick, when the kid starts being a prick, your patience ain't there. I can't explain it. Like I'm not saying that you don't love the child. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying the mother's relationship with you reflects how you feel about the child, whether you want to or not. You always love the kid, but it's almost like a woman, if she nags enough and she's negative enough, she destroys your investment in the child. I don't know how to explain it. It's like, you're being so horrible to me all the time. Why am I trying to be a good dad to the kid then? Even though it's not the kid's fault, but it's just like, you're such a nasty piece of shit person. Then you tell the kid why I didn't want to see you both, because you're just constantly causing issues.
You're talking about the separation of it.
Yeah.
I see.
So that's the first thing, but maybe that's a hard thing to explain. But the reason genetics are so crazy is that although all my children are exactly like me, and they all a little bit different, but I can see myself in all of them, the scariest, weirdest thing is that my dad, who I loved with all of my heart and who was the best dad on the planet, also probably had some mental condition. Because my dad was, I want to be very respectful, but he was a unique person. My dad was your size, black, genius chess player.
Odd. Very
it's just
odd.
weird.
Yeah.
And he's going to
a gorilla playing chess.
Yeah. He's going to chess tournaments and he's massive. And he's like playing back then, like chess now is all internet and geeky, but back then it was like some autistic computer nerd, an ex-KGB agent from Belarus, my dad. Like it's just like the weirdest group of freaks with photographic memories.
Yeah.
All sitting there playing chess. It was just such a weird thing. And my dad he was diagnosed and left the CIA or the Air Force and the CIA in the end because they said he had bipolar and they said he had narcissistic personality disorder. And a lot of people said, like even like ex-girlfriends and stuff, said, you're a narcissist. Girls call everyone a narcissist.
Yeah.
You're a narcissist. I'm not a narcissist and neither are you, because my dad was a narcissist. And when you meet a real narcissist, it's actually quite remarkable, because if you're a true narcissist, you don't believe guns can kill you.
Delusional belief.
Yeah, it's like narcissism, not the bullshit female version that everyone says now, because it's overused like everything else. Depressed is overused, narcissist is overused. But I've seen people point guns at my dad and he laughed to go, do you think a gun can kill me? You actually think a gun can kill me? And then he laughed at me like he thinks a gun can kill me. Like he was flabbergasted that this dipshit thought a bullet could kill him. And he's scary because he's so big and he's just so delusional in his belief. So my dad had this look, and whenever if you made my dad mad, it's a look I can't describe. And it's not a look on your face. It's a look inside of the black of your eye. Inside of the pupil of his eye, he had a look. And if I ever made him angry, he'd look at me, and I've only ever seen this look on him. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's scary. It's strange. And scarily, the only other person I've seen that look on is my son. I saw him turn and look at me, and I was like, I've seen that look before. That's Dad's look. I was like, I've never seen that look anywhere else on the planet, but it was the exact look that my dad had, and they've never met.
Yeah.
It was scary. And I don't think I have that look either. I think it skipped me.
Yeah.
It was really weird. I mean, I'm glad he has it. He might need it in life. I mean, you turn it on, you turn it on.
Yeah.
But genetics are a weird thing. I saw my dad in his eyes. It was so weird.
Do you think you raised your sons like your dad raised you?
That's exactly what my dad raised me like.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's going to sit here and say that's not how you should raise a son, but surely the primary objective of having a son is to replicate yourself. And if I was raised a certain way, then I'm going to raise him the same way I was raised.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I was raised. I had to play chess all day, every day. I had to train. I had to obey like my dad was God. I had to do everything he said. I wasn't allowed to cry. I wasn't allowed to misbehave. I fucked up. I got hit. I don't even hit my kids. I don't hit them because I don't need to. I've never hit any of my children because I say do something and they listen.
Yeah.
But my dad didn't have to hit me very often because I knew he would.
Yeah, I guess.
It's like being in the prison. You ain't got to fight because they know you will. It's the same thing, right? So that's exactly how I was raised. And I'm so thankful to God that's how I was raised, because I've managed to drag myself out of the gutter and build this fantastic life because I'm the man I am because of the childhood I had, like we were talking about earlier, because I had to go smash that kid's face in with a lunchbox. He's still walking around with a scar somewhere. Fuck him. And I want my son to enjoy the same life. So I'm not doing any of these things because I dislike him or dislike them. I'm not strict on them because I'm a mean man and I have a hard heart. It's because the world is a hard place and the world is mean and I actually love them. So anyone who watches this and thinks I'm some kind of fucking evil psycho doesn't understand the world very well. Because if my son's going to have to go through a fraction of the things I had to go through, he needs to be ready. So he's not going to be jumping up and down and playing dumb shit. You're 5 and you're going to do your squats. I mean, when you're with your mother, you can do that, but you're with dad now. So you're going to do your real time. Real.
Why do you think men in general are so afraid of, not necessarily afraid, but when going through tough things, they have a really hard time seeing the future being like brighter, being better? Because I know through my experiences, my childhood, like my father took his life when I was very young. I know that like now that made me exactly who I am today. And I wouldn't change any of it at all. Because all the sort of energy that built up throughout my life, my childhood, like seeing things I didn't have that I wanted, or I thought it should be a certain way. And then kind of growing up and then finding sort of role models that I didn't have in the gym. And my whole life is built around something I didn't have. And now it's given me everything that I've ever wanted.
Absolutely.
And why do you think it's so hard for men to go through things that are hard now? Maybe it's because they don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, but what sort of words would you give to men that are going through very hard times that, it can be better, but you have to make it better?
You have to make it better. And also, as crazy as this sounds, because you just described a negative experience and you said you wouldn't change it. And nearly every single negative experience in my life is exactly the same. It's as crazy as it sounds. There's going to be a day when you look back and you're glad it happened. As crazy as that sounds. I mean, within reason, of course, but the point is that you have to understand a brighter day is coming and that God, if you believe in him, but certainly the universe, karma, the simulation works in very mysterious ways. And unfortunately, as a man, the only way we can learn lessons is the hard way. And I think the reason that bad things happen to us men is so that we learn and we grow from them, because we don't learn the easy way. No man does. No man can sit and pretend to me they learn the easy way. If you get in your car and you start driving and you slide a little bit, you're going to keep driving like a dickhead until you crash properly.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. That's men. God's giving us plenty of easy layups to learn our lesson. And we never do.
Yeah.
We just keep pushing until it all goes fucking wrong. And then finally we're like, you know what? I actually saw this coming for years, but I'm a dip. So all the hard things that happen to us are the things that must happen to us for us to evolve. And I think that's the first thing to remember. The second thing, you're completely correct in saying you have to build your life. You have to make your life better. A lot of people don't have the energy or the agency or the self-accountability to do that. So every single defeat is just a crushing defeat because they learn nothing from it. But if you're going to live life that way, you're always going to lose. And the third thing to understand, and I think this is important, if everything went well all of the time, you'd really be miserable.
Yeah.
Imagine you had unlimited money and you got any girl you wanted and it was always sunny and there's no traffic and no one ever hurts you and you never get arrested and you never have stress and you never have problems and nothing ever goes wrong ever.
Yeah, you don't have perspective.
Bro, 2 weeks, you lose your mind.
Yeah.
Like you'd have a couple threesomes and you'd be like, okay, I'm bored now. Just, what am I going to do? So there is no light without dark. That is so absolutely true. And the darker it is, the brighter it becomes. It's like a coiled spring. So no matter how bad it gets, you need to sit there and go, this is so bad that the other side of it is going to be great. The universe balances out in the end. Like the moral arc of the universe bends towards a strange form of justice where everything's equal. You know, when I was in jail, I said to Tristan, we don't belong in here for human trafficking. Like they put us in here for no reason. But all in all, we belong in jail a bit.
I get it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Think of all the you got away with.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you could get arrested for jaywalking and go to jail, and you'd be like, I shouldn't be here for jaywalking. But if I think back on I got away with.
Yeah, it's fair.
Fair enough. It's
Yeah.
like the moral arc of the universe bends towards kind of balancing out.
So you believe in karma?
I believe that karma is one way to look at it. Live by the sword, die by the sword is another way to look at it. You give what you get is another way to look at it. But I certainly believe if you go through life giving good energy, good things come back. And I certainly believe it's the inverse as well. If you go through life giving bad energy, bad things come back. But I also believe that a lot of things really are a matter of perception. I really believe that you get to decide whether an event was good or bad. Even the most heinous events, I've decided jail was great and it was good for me and I'm glad it happened. And I've decided that this whole Matrix attack, although it's literally destroying my life and trying to take me from my children, is a good thing. And you can decide if someone who came into your life was an angel or a devil. It's your perception. You can think of a woman who you previously thought of as a devil, and then you can think of all the lessons she taught you. And that now you can just reverse it. She's an angel now. She taught me all this stuff. Thanks. Great.
Yeah.
You know, so a lot of it is a battle of perception. I think if you do that and you understand that you do give what you get in the world. And I don't know if when I say you give what you get, it's because you genuinely get more or less of one thing, or if you're always giving positive, I think you're just better trained to see the positive. And if you're always giving negative, you're better trained to see the negative. Like if I'm out there and I'm a hitman, I'm better trained. If I'm killing people or doing something heinous, I'm better trained to understand where I'm vulnerable or could be killed. And it's just what you see. What you do is what you see. It's what you perceive. If you're doing good, you see more good. And then you feel more good. And then you live inside of your own mind. Like all of our worlds are just a few neurons in our brain. And as much as facts matter, because they matter for competence, truthfully, if you get to a certain level of relevance or money or whatever, even facts aren't that important. You know what's interesting? I thought about this the other day. I was talking to one of my women, and she's extremely beautiful. Don't want to brag, baddie. And I'm, of course, bro,
Famous man.
most famous man in the
Most
world,
beautiful.
hundreds of millions of dollars, you know. And she's talking because she's a woman. She's talking bollocks, blah blah blah, some crap that doesn't even make sense. And I'm like, you know what? The best thing about being a girl is. She goes, what? I said, because I'm a man, I have to optimize for competence. And to optimize for competence, I have to understand the game I'm playing. So I have to be as realistic as possible to understand the rules of the game so that I can win the game. But you haven't got to do that. So you can literally live in a fairy tale. You can literally believe things that are completely not true and complete fantasy and star signs and this is given to me by God and angels. And I heard the tree talking to me when I walked past the tree and it told me to get a matcha and just complete. But none of it matters. Because I'm competent and I pay your bills and you're my sex worker. And this is all just, we don't have to, you don't have to believe in anything real. And quite impressively, she said, yes, you're right. But I live inside my brain and I believe the world's a perfect place. And I believe that if I say thank you to the tree for giving me shade, that the tree feels happy. And that's how I want to exist in my mind, because that's the version of the world I want to live in. And I'm just like, well, you're right, because you live in the fantasy dreamland. You made it true. And men, to a lesser extent, because we have to live in the real world, can also do that. You can live in, to a degree, a fantasy dreamland and make it true. I can reframe all my suffering as I suffered so that I have stories to tell so that I can help millions of people.
Yeah.
So is my one man individual, is it worth me suffering to help millions of people not suffer? Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not so selfish and I'm not such a coward. Same with you. We would be cowards to sit and say, I'm so scared of suffering, I don't want to help millions of other people.
Yeah.
Like, well, I'll suffer a bit if it helps millions. And have I really suffered that much? I got 2 arms and 2 legs. Bacteria could have took our eyesight. Like, well, luck. Like, dumb could have happened.
And it's also like, at some point, that's kind of all that really matters. And that's all that sort of sustains when you're gone.
Of course. It's the impact you leave on other people.
Right.
So then you start to reframe something as heinous and negative and sad as losing your dad. We both lost ours. As, well, that actually gave me everything I needed to leave an impact and a mark on history, which is the only point of being alive in the first place.
Yeah.
If that didn't happen, I may not have left a mark on history. I may have died as one of the insignificant nobodies that nobody even talks about. One of the numbers that die every day and no one cares. When we die, at least we get to make paper.
Yeah.
At least people give it a bit. So everything is about perspective. Everything's about reframe. So when you say, like, do I believe in karma? Well, I believe that within reason, I shape the universe inside of my mind because I live inside of my mind and I get to decide the version of reality I want to operate in. And lucky for me, as I make more and more money, I get to do more and more extreme versions of that. That's one of the best things about being rich. One of the best things about being rich is shaping and curating your reality so that it suits the narrative you've put inside of your head.
And food.
Yeah, and food.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Going into a restaurant and not checking the price.
Oh
that still blows my mind.
Oh, it's the best thing.
It's the best thing. Bro, I sit down and I go, you know what? All these dishes sound good. I'll have all of them and I'll have one bite of each and just they take them and I don't want them anymore.
Yeah,
just pay the bill.
Steve, my buddy Steve does that all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Bro, I used to go in there and say, what's cheapest? What's cheapest? Look, I was poor. But yeah, so we're all trying to shape our version of reality. Like, if something bad happens to you, you should sit there and go, okay, this was deliberate. This is not a freak accident. I'm not an unfortunate, unlucky person. I'm not going to sit here and feel sorry for myself. This situation was deliberately given to me by the simulation because it wants me to level up and prove I can get through it, because this is my big opportunity to earn some karma from the universe so that I can become the man I'm supposed to be and help others and finally get the life worth living. This is my chance. This isn't a bad thing. This is my chance.
Yeah.
Thank God this happened. Now I get a shot. Before this, my life was just basic and normal and I wasn't doing anything. But now I get a shot at something.
Yeah.
It's a reframe. But people don't think that way. They go, oh, what did I say earlier about hoping people have mercy on them? This happened to me.
No, none.
Oh, no, you can't operate that way. And you can't have mercy on yourself. I've never for a second, despite all that I've been through, looked in the mirror and felt sorry for myself. I got myself here with my big mouth. It's unfair that they did it because we should be allowed to talk. Yes, but I still did it. And if I get banged up for 20 years, I still did it. It's unfair. I don't like it. It shouldn't happen, but I did it. So I'm not going to sit there and go, poor me. I'm going to say, this is bullshit. They're corrupt. But here I am in jail, being a real, seeing all my wives and children on visit. They'll have to come at the same time, low on time. Hi. You haven't met yet, but you know, I'm in jail. We're low on time. So come in, ladies.
Next.
Come in, ladies.
Next.
It's what it is.
Is there anything you regret?
I don't operate from a frame of regret, because I think if you operate from a frame of regret, then you're praying for time travel. Like, I learn lessons and there's mistakes I've made, of course. But if you're happy with who you are as a person, you have to be happy with every single thing that happened to you.
Yeah, because you're also doing the opposite of everything you just explained previously.
Of course, you have to be happy for the most mundane bull. The delay you had in traffic may have saved your life. If you were 5 minutes earlier, a tree may have fell and smashed your face in. Like, if you're happy you're breathing and you're happy with who you are, you have to be happy for everything that happened to you, both good and bad. If you hate yourself, then you can sit there and go, well, I hate myself, so how did I end up here? But I can't imagine that frame, because I can't imagine hating myself, because the only person who's always 100% going to be on your own side is you. That's who you've got. If you're going to betray yourself, well, now you're like, if you're going to sit there and your own brain is going to betray you, like your brain's got to be on your team. It's your brain.
Yeah, and you also can't expect other people to not betray you if you're willing to betray yourself.
Absolutely, right? So it's amazing to me when people sit down and, we all have had struggles. I've had a bunch. You've had a bunch. I've had more struggles than most, so have you. But if you're going to let your own thought I'm going to let my own thought beat me up. I'm going to let my own thought ruin my own life. My own thoughts. I'm going to think them myself, and they're going to beat me.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane to imagine, but people do.
Oh, a lot of people do.
And they lose to their own mind. So if you operate in that frame and you hate yourself and you're losing to your own thoughts, then you're going to operate from a frame of regret. But my frame is very simple. Look, I haven't done everything perfectly, and I've made a lot of mistakes, and there's a whole bunch of things I could change if I could. But I did the best I could at the time. I made the decision I made at the time, believing it was the best decision. And I'm not going to apologize for trying my best with a different set of information. If I, in 10 years, regret the things I'm doing right now, I'm not going to sit and go, oh, I regret it. I'm going to say, at the time, I thought it was right.
Yeah.
I now know more. I'm older. I'm wiser. I've changed. And now, perhaps in the same scenario with the new information, I wouldn't do that. But at the time, I thought it was right. So what am I supposed to do? Like, I get this all the time by people say, hey, you said this 8 years ago. Do you regret it? I'm like, well, I mean, it's inconvenient now that it's all over the internet.
Yeah.
But considering the internet was different back then, KSI was making rape face and nobody gave what anyone said. And my YouTube channel had 200 followers. Like, who gave them? I didn't expect to become the most Googled man on the planet and for the BBC to run the clip for 5 years trying to lock me up. Like, am I supposed to see this coming? Am I supposed to be mad at past me for not predicting that he might become the most well-known person on planet Earth with an unknown app called TikTok that wasn't invented?
Yeah.
Like, what the
Yeah.
So I'm a man, and, we go through life, we make mistakes, but I'll own my mistakes. I think if you own up to things and you learn from them, then that's the point of making them in the first place. I'll own up to every mistake I make. I'll own up to it. And I make mistakes every day. We're all human, but I don't operate from a frame of regret. I don't operate that way. I don't regret anything I've ever said. I don't regret anything I've ever done.
Yeah.
I don't regret the things that got me in trouble. I don't regret any of it. I did what I thought was best, and I live with the consequences. That's it.
Besides kids and besides growing your businesses, like, what do you really want more out of life?
You know what? It's a really good question, because truthfully, besides those two things, and even then it's still one thing, the only reason I want more money is to have more kids. I think the world is pretty empty. I remember being broke and thinking, if I get rich, I'm going to buy so much. I spend most of my time trying to find to buy. Please feel sorry for me. I take it all back. I need pity and mercy. I take it all back. Because there's nothing to fucking buy, bro. By the time you buy every car, then you buy 20 diamond watches, and then you get some clothes. How many clothes does a man really need?
Yeah.
And then you get a house to live in. I mean, you can buy more houses, but that's an investment. Investing money isn't spending money. Maybe this is the black in me talking, but spending money is, I've wasted that money. Ha 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 ha. I'm a nignog. But like, investing money is like the white side of me. Andrew, buy stocks, buy crypto, buy a house. But the black side of me needs to be satiated with excessive waste. So I'm like, how do I waste my money? And I don't gamble, and I don't do drugs, and I don't want purple drank because I don't drink alcohol. So I can't waste my money on the things black people normally waste their money on. So it's like, how do I waste my money? Diamond watches, I have a wall of diamond watches as big as this wall with just diamond watches, one after another, and I wear the same one everywhere I go. It's stupid.
Yeah.
I have 101 cars. I have over 10 cars worth more than $6 million each. I have 2 Paganis. I have 2 Koenigseggs. I have 2 Bugattis. I've got Rimac Nevera. I've got the most elite luxury 20 in the world stupid cars. I don't drive any of them. They all just sit there collecting dust. Biggest waste. I have a $200 million car collection. Biggest waste of money ever. Stupid.
Yeah.
I have 7 765s in different colors. It's dumb. So I bought all the cars. Buying houses doesn't satiate because it feels like an investment. Buying stock doesn't help. Buying crypto doesn't help. That's on my white side. My white side's happy. My black side's trying to waste money. And there's nothing to buy, bro. Really. So when I was broke, I was like, I'm going to buy all this. And then I got rich and I was like, there's nothing to fucking buy. And I realized it's because of like electronics. Because if you were rich in the 90s, you'd buy like a big stereo and a big TV and like some walkie-talkies to talk to your boys. You buy all this, but now it's all just a laptop. Think about it. You talk to all your people on your laptop. You're entertained from your laptop. You communicate with your family on your laptop. Any questions, any knowledge, it's all your laptop. By the time you buy a laptop, that's 90% of the things you need on the planet.
Yeah, or the phone.
Or the phone.
Yeah.
So like there's nothing to buy. I find myself scrolling up and down auction websites, trying to find cool to buy. I'm in art auctions, anonymous art auctions. I load $10 million into my account just to make it into the art auction. I go to these anonymous art auctions. I'm never buying a painting ever because I don't give a. Even I'm not going to. That's the white side. White people like art.
It's an investment again.
It's an investment. So I can't buy it. So I'm sitting there in an art auction watching people bid for this piece of painting, like 7.2 mil, 7.3 mil. And part of me is kind of tempted to click just to put the price up. But if I get stuck with it, I'll be fuming because I don't want it. And I'm just sitting there like, what the fuck am I doing? You know? And then some guy buys it for like 29.3 million and stays anonymous. I'm like, he doesn't even flex it. If that was me, I'd have it on the top of my Lambo and start saying, look what I bought, like a dumbass. This guy's like, don't even show my name. Let me just put it in the study. No one's going to even, like, only his rich friends will see it. I'm like, who are these white people, bro? No black man does that. Black man would have it hanging off the front of his house and shit.
On a chain.
With the price, with the price tag. 100%. I'm like, who's the white boy in sweet Switzerland who just did this? So yeah, I'm literally sitting there in anonymous art auctions like a dip trying to spend money and I can't. So, I mean, I'm not complaining, but one of the only reasons I focus on trying to make so much money is to have so many children. It really is the only thing I've found that makes life worth living because you get to start life again. You live through them, right? Christmas only matters because of kids. Birthday, we all know this. All this dumb shit only matters because of the kids. So I'm trying to have as many as possible. And, you know, they're coolest when they're toddlers. So if you keep having them, you always have a toddler, which is nice.
Yeah.
You know, when they start getting older and they're like, they start having like opinions and what the fuck? It's like, what the you better shut the fuck up.
Dude,
Well, you can't have opinions in my house. Brad, listen.
When can they have opinions?
Listen. I don't know what it is with you white people, but I want to make something clear. I don't negotiate with children. I've seen white parents turn to their kids and say, if you behave, you can have some candy. And I'm like, did you just beg a business deal from a child to behave in your house? Like, I am flabbergasted by this. I don't do deals. I don't negotiate with terrorists.
I knew you were going to say that.
Obey me.
I knew you were going to say
Obey me now. Like, this is my house. I'm the reason you're alive. I pay for all of this.
They got to learn that, you know?
Yeah, but they have learned it. I mean, most of them know, but like my 6-year-old said to me, it was her birthday like 3 weeks ago. And she said, hi, Dad. I was like, hi. She goes, happy birthday. I said, happy birthday. Da-da. She goes, it's my party. Da-da. She goes, did you get me a present? I said, no. She goes, why you didn't get me a present? I said, this house is a present. The car you drive to school in every day is a present. The driver who's driving it because your mom can't drive is a present. The security team that walk around with you is a present. Your clothes are a present. Do you understand that every single thing in your life is a present? I've given you everything. And she said, thanks, Dad, you're right. And she went on with her day. Happy. I could have spoiled her with endless, but she's already spoiled with endless. She has a great life. So, you know, I try and lay down the law early, but I'm not doing any kind of business deals with my children. I'm not playing that game. Like,
no, I get it.
The day they think they can argue with me, they better be ready for what happens, which is they're going to have to say to me, I don't want to be your kid anymore. I'm not having a kid who doesn't listen to me. So if you want to excommunicate your father and be someone else's kid, bye. But if you're my kid, you do as I say. If you want access to the Tate empire and me, you're going to do as I say. You're going to do as I say. And that's because I love them. So when they get a bit older and they start like saying things and thinking things, I'm like, listen, you can say and think things all you want, but remember, my word trumps yours always. Yes, sir. Okay, good. Continue with your bull. It's fine.
So when is the fathering course come into the
bro?
The
it would save the world.
The real world.
It would save the world, bro. But you know what? Nearly every man watching this agrees with me. The reason they can't do it is because most men are scared of their wives. The woman doesn't let you do that. Most like mothers will get in the way of a dad trying to parent a child that way. Oh, he's just a kid, or leave him alone, or when you go out the room, or babying him, or I hate that. As weird as this sounds, women are actually bad with kids. They're good at having them, and they're good in the baby stage, because that's just diapers. You know how many diapers I've changed in my life? Let me count. 0. Never got out of bed. Never done a bottle. Never changed. Like 0. Fat 0. I'm not a chick. I'm not gay. I'm not doing that crap. So it's a baby. That's for women. Don't care. Uninterested. I'm soundly asleep. Excuse me, love. Your child is awake. Go fix it. Your child. Oh, it's my child in the middle of the night. Yes. Go fix your child.
Dude, you're...
So I've done none. I'm not... When I see these like new dads and they've gone like, I'm doing the bottle. Homo, bro. I'm doing none of that gay. I'm not a second mom. I'm a dad.
So you don't think the feminine energy is...
I am... That's for women. Okay. I'm a dad. Okay. Right? So women are good with the babies, but they're with toddlers because toddlers ruin women. Toddlers are actually smarter than full-grown women. So they work out how to manipulate them. It's incredible.
I see what you're saying. But
that a toddler wants attention. So the woman will cook food and sit down and say, eat your food. I don't want to eat my food. No, you have to eat it. How do I make you eat it? I don't want to eat it. If you eat it, you can have some dessert. Oh, I don't want to eat it. We'll do choo-choo. Oh, okay, we'll do choo-choo. All this. I'm like, eat your food. They either sit there and go, okay, or they say, oh, I'm not hungry. I say, if you're not hungry, the food's going to sit there. You can eat it in the next half an hour or you're not eating. So either eat it or don't eat it. Because I'm not leaving food all over the house. And then I walk off. And then they just eat it. And the game's over. There's no game. There's no choo-choo. There's no attention. There's none of this. Or like a toddler will cry and the mom will run over and go, are you okay? What's happened? What's happened? What's happened? If my toddler cries, I just check. Okay, toddler's alive. I don't see any alligators. Nothing bit her. She has water, so she's not dehydrated. I'll fuck her then. I cry. Cute. I don't give a shit. Your mom cries all the time. I don't give a fuck about her either. Cry. I'm not, just cry. And you know how long they cry for when they realize it gets no attention? 30 seconds. Then they're back to running around. You play their fucking game, they cry all day, bro. Just like a girlfriend. You play their game, they always have a problem. But if it's just like, oh, next, then they just get over it. So women are actually with kids. They make kids misbehave more with their constant attention giving. It's a good thing because they love the child, but they're just constantly encouraging bad behavior from the child on accident.
I see.
And I'm like, mom, I have to say, look, you're a mom, but you're being run like a bitch, like chill. She's crying for literally no reason. She's crying because she's tired. Then go to sleep. What is this game we're playing? Why are you crying? Are you tired? Yeah, I'm tired. Are you tired? Okay, let's go to bed. I don't want to go to bed. Like, what the Just ignore this crap.
I mean, it's kind of the only answer, it seems like.
But like most dads can't do that. Most dudes, as we discussed earlier, feminism has got men so under the thumb of these chicks, bro. Dudes are scared of their wives. They're scared of getting, I don't know, beaten up. I guess in the West, you have to fear the fake rape cases. I know a thing or two about that. And you have to fear the police and the divorce court. That's all true. Like, it's kind of insane how, it's not kind of insane because it's all deliberate. They've empowered women to deliberately destroy masculinity. So now as a man, if you're in America and you have a wife or a woman, you have basically no recourse at all against any kind of bad behavior. You can't yell at her. You can't lock the door and say you can't go get drunk with other men. You can't do anything because you're going to go to jail. She can always call other men with guns to come get you. So she has a whole lot of husbands, and it ain't you. It's the government. The government's her husband because the government's her husband. The government will feed her. The government will force you to give her half your. The government will send dudes with guns. She's married to the government. She ain't married to you. She doesn't give a fuck about you. She doesn't even respect you. She respects the government because they have more force. They have more power. What do women like?
Yeah.
Right? So in America, it's really difficult because if the way I raised my son, clicking fingers and doing the push-ups and thing, if you were to take that in front of a Western judge and call me abusive, and the mom was to say, every time he sees his dad, he makes him do this, I'd lose access to my kid for loving my kid and wanting to train him in martial arts at 5 years old, like kids all around the world.
So you would never raise kids in America?
Well, my point is there's 5-year-olds having full rule Muay Thai fights in Thailand. There's 5-year-olds doing Kung Fu in China, but a 5-year-old can't do a few squats and punches in the air in the West without losing your child? It's crazy.
Yeah, I see.
So like, if I was an American, I am an American, but if I was living in America, it depends if you optimize for love. If you optimize for love, you're going to be in love with a girl here and you're going to want to have kids, etc. But if I was to optimize for brutal progeny and pure efficiency, if I was to sit and say, okay, I want as many kids as possible, how do I pull this off? Understanding that I won't be able to raise them the way I want in America. I'm not going to be able to have kids with many women in America because I'm going to get sued in divorce court left and right, lose all my money. Like, how the fuck do I get away with this? I would probably just go to Poland for a couple months a year and just find a beautiful girl in Poland with a nice family and just meet her dad and explain to her dad, look, I live in America. My business in America. I love your daughter. I want to have a family with your daughter. I'm not wasting her time. She's going to have a lot of money, respectively, for where she lives.
Yeah.
And I'll be here when I'm here. And I'm glad you're here and the family's here because you're a family-oriented people. So the she's not going to be alone with the kid. There's like 20 of you and all of her sisters have kids and you're a big happy family. And here's the child. Here's the money. See you when I see you. That's what I do.
So you wouldn't put your kids in school then?
Say again?
You wouldn't put your kids in school? Because there is that whole other side of things that like school and other people start to parent your kids.
That's true. I think it depends where. Like a school in Poland, I'm sure is fine. School in Cali, I don't know what they're teaching them over here. I don't know. The problem is if they're going to a school where you're going to have to unprogram them, then it's more dangerous. But a school in the right place in the world, you'd have less to worry about. So I don't think there's anything wrong with school. I think the child should be busy all of the time. And I think school's a good thing. But I also don't believe in like expensive schools. One of the mothers of one of my kids is really trying to get me to send him to some $25,000 a month school. I'm like, why? Oh, because I want him to learn all these things. I was like, the school just lies. I know everything. ChatGPT knows everything. What the fuck is this? ChatGPT's free, bro.
No.
And she's like, the Matrix is free. Just ask the Matrix. And she's like, yeah, but then he'll meet other important people. I'm like, I'm important. He knows me. He knows me. Like, so I'm not really a big believer in school. I actually think by the time my children have grown up, it's going to be completely, basically obsolete. The idea of traditional education is basically gone. It's already obsolete because it doesn't provide what it's supposed to provide, which is an advanced job opportunity.
Yeah.
It doesn't provide that anymore. So what is it? It's a social club and it's extended adolescence. Why are people going to college now? Is it to really make more money or is it to get drunk?
So on that, what jobs do you think are going to remain as technology advances?
It's a really good question. I'm not sure. I actually think that we're going to work it out and we're going to have to establish some form of UBI, universal basic income, based on bullshit jobs. Because I actually think we already have UBI. I think we already live in an era of bullshit jobs. AI isn't a brand new concept. The idea of something brand new coming and destroying everybody's job has happened before. Look at the Industrial Revolution. We thought machines are going to come. No one's going to have to work anymore because we're going to have plows and machines in these factories. So it doesn't take people. You know, we reduced the workforce by huge percentages because we got more efficient with machinery.
Yeah.
So then what happened instead? Well, what we did to keep people employed is that we built these huge public sectors where a bunch of retards sit around offices subsidized by the government doing nothing. Most people don't do any work. Most people with the job don't do any work. If you're a gardener or a farmer or a police officer or a builder, you do work. But if you've ever worked in any kind of office with women, you understand they don't do anything. They don't do anything. I know plenty of women who go to work and think 3 emails and 2 meetings is a hard day's work with coffee breaks in between. Like, it's just, it's bullshit. And the only reason they're there is because either the government's paying for them because they're public sector, or if they're private sector, that company has been forced to hire them because you must hire these bimbos who do nothing because it's a quota. So you just go, oh, give me some chicks. They don't do anything. You know what? It's better they do nothing. They just mess it all up. Just let them do nothing. Just ignore them. It's just a tax. Just pay the tax and ignore them. It's true. So there's offices full of people as it sits right now on UBI doing nothing. And I know that's true. I know that's true because even back when I had a job, way back when I was broke, and this is before AI, this is long ago, I used to get jobs and decide I wanted to quit and then go, instead of quit, let me see how long I can do no work. And I'd literally do 2 emails a day and just talk about. And I lasted 9 months, 10 months. I lasted forever. I didn't do anything. I did nothing.
I mean, it's got to depend on the job, though. If you don't,
of course it is, but you can what I'm saying is there are real jobs, but there's a whole bunch of office jobs which aren't jobs. Nothing happens. Nobody notices. You're telling me if you're working in one of the offices at a massive super conglomerate, you can't get away with doing basically zero. I know
No,
you.
yeah,
Of
no, I'm
course
not
you
telling
can.
you that, yeah.
And they can't even fire you because of employment law. It's so hard to fire you. It's easier just to keep you. So we're already in UBI, especially in all these businesses where they force women to be hired. Because you've seen their TikToks. Look, I'm not insulting you girls. I've seen your TikToks. A day in the life. I get my coffee. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
I go in the office. They don't do anything. So they don't do anything. You know it's true. They do zero. And then if you were to ask them, why don't you want children? My career.
Oh, no.
I know, it's so bad. It's like, oh, so we're not going to repopulate Earth because you're busy making TikToks about the work you don't do. Well, that's more important. So we've already got a form of UBI because most jobs are actually bullshit jobs. That's why the public sector is so big. And that's why the fraud is so big. And that's why the taxation's out of control. And that's why the money printing's so big. You know what would happen if they actually stopped stealing money or giving it away to retards who do nothing? The entire system would collapse. This entire economy, everything around us is fraud. None of this is real. All of it's fraud. NGOs are stealing endless money. Empty daycares are stealing money. Everyone's just stealing. The companies are hiring people who do no work. Everyone's just stealing. And if you actually cut out all the bullshit, there'd be like 4 companies left and a bunch of people sitting at home with no work to do. So when you look around in the Western hemisphere, when you look around anywhere, you can understand the whole thing is fraud. I think I saw a really frightening statistic out of England. I looked it up during the EBT crap. Remember when the EBT stopped and all the sorry, I shouldn't say that. When all the started complaining they couldn't buy their
Bro.
you know when EBT stopped and everyone started complaining on the internet, I better get my EBT, I better get my EBT. You remember that?
Yeah, the COVID thing.
Yeah. Like when EBT stopped and everyone lost their minds, I think, no, the government shut down like a few weeks ago.
Right.
Yeah. And Trump was saying that there's no EBT. And
I was thinking about when everyone's getting the COVID loans for free and
no.
scam, whatever.
They were saying when the government shut down, there was no EBT. I looked up how many people are on EBT. And then I found some statistics, but the statistics in America are not as exact as the ones in England. So I know the statistics for England. But I mean, considering that it looks like a third of people in America don't work. They just live off free money that's printed from the sky. And then that leaves 2/3, and a third of them have a bullshit job and do nothing. They live off free money given to them by the government, or their company's forced to give it to them and can't fire them. That's more money printed from the sky. So 2/3 of all the people on the planet with money didn't earn it. It was just given to them. And then you have this 1/3 of poor, unfortunate, middle-aged white guys who pay tax and get wrecked, bro.
Yeah, I pay a lot in taxes.
Bro, you get because you're a middle-aged white guy. Not middle-aged, but you know.
Yeah.
You're in the demographic of people, they go, you know what? They're smart enough and hardworking enough to totally fuck over.
Yeah. It feels that way.
100% it is. And you're supporting the whole system. Just you. I looked up England. England has 70 million people. Of the 70 million, only half are eligible to pay tax. So 35 million are either too old or too young, right? So there's 35 million who could pay tax. Of those, only 15 million are paying tax. The other 20 million are living off the government. And of those 15 million, only half, 7.5 million, are paying more tax than they receive back in some form of state benefit, disability or childcare or thing.
Right.
So you have 7.5 million middle-aged white guys in England paying to support not only themselves, not only the military, not only the entire government, but 63.5 million other people. How the long is that going to last?
Yeah, well,
It's done, bro. It's over. It's so crazy. So this entire system is just based on fraud. It's just, let's print money. People don't really work. UBI, scam. I mean, what is the stock market? I'm a rich guy and I make money from the stock market. But sometimes I wake up and I check my stocks and I'm like, what the fuck is this? I'm an AI company and you're a company that makes microchips. And I need microchips. But instead of buy them from you, I'm going to offer you to invest in my company. And then, no, I'm going to invest in, sorry, let me get this right because I don't want to confuse it.
Yeah.
I'm an AI company. You make microchips. I can give you $1 billion for microchips. But instead of that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to invest $1 billion in your company. And now there's a synergy between our two companies. And that's going to massively increase your stock price, much more than the $1 billion I would have given you just for the microchips. And all that extra money you've made in the stock now allows you to get a loan against the stock, and you're going to invest it back in my company. Now it's like, what the? Everything's going to the moon. No one's making anything. No one's building anything. Since 2015, it's now 2026. Trillions of dollars have been printed and created, and trillions of dollars. I think the stock market must be, and this is an absolute guess, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times larger than it was 10 years ago. That's triple the money. Does America look richer to you? Where the f is this money?
Yeah.
Where is any of this? Oh, it turns out it's numbers on a screen and it's a big fugazi. It's just made up. And if you're in the right place at the right time, you can open a daycare and steal it all. And the government is allowing you to steal because somewhere along the chain, they're stealing too. Little Somalis who can barely speak English aren't working out how to defraud the government. The government's working out how to defraud itself, and it needs someone to take the blame. So at the end of it all, they put some fucking retard. What did I say earlier about them wanting third worlders who don't know any better? Do you think the Somalis sat there and read the law and worked this out? Or do you think someone came to them and said, you're going to work in this daycare, don't worry about it, here's $100 a week, shut up, sit there. Steal, 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 steal. And the reason I know that's true is because if the government wasn't stealing all this money, why the fuck are none of them in jail?
Yeah.
Where's the FBI raids?
Yeah.
I mean, you're paying all this tax, sir. Where is the FBI turning up armed, going into these daycares, collecting evidence for maybe a criminal trial at least? I mean, surely you do that day one before evidence is destroyed. But no, it's months in, not a single arrest, not a single investigation. Why? Because this $9 billion stolen by Somalis was actually stolen by the government itself. And they just stole it and they used them as a fall guys. The real question is this. Here's the real question, Brad. Everyone's online going, they stole $9 billion for empty daycares. That's not the real question. The real question is this. Even if there were kids there and they weren't empty, why the fuck are they getting $9 billion? For a few kids?
Yeah, well,
for a few kids? I don't care if you go to the daycare that's full of kids. $9 billion?
Yeah. Well, on a scale, I don't know how the scale is of like how many daycares, but the real question is who is allowing it, right? Like someone's getting money on the back end so this could even be happening on the front end.
So the guy allowing it, I'm assuming, is going to be the guy who's getting paid from it. So I guess it's the whole government head to toe, the whole apparatus, because none of them seem very interested. FBI ain't interested. DOJ ain't interested. Senators aren't interested. Trump isn't even interested. Nobody really gives. They're like, oh yeah, that's wrong. That's bad. But no one's doing anything. Who's even said it stopped? They might still be paying out.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And there's a few middle-aged white guys just paying their tax. And obviously the tax money is not nearly enough to counter all this insane fraud. So on top of that, they just print loads of money and inflate the currency.
Yeah.
And the goal is just to steal as much as you can without getting caught until you lose power. Steal, 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 steal. And it's the same in every single country in the Western world. Every single democracy is exactly the same. So yeah, the game is so ridiculously rigged. It's crazy. It's crazy that we already live in UBI. So you're saying, what are the future jobs that exist? I don't think most jobs exist now. I think the whole system is just supported by this big mega fraud. I think it's all just bullshit.
Yeah.
And it's impossible to stop money from moving upwards anyway. It's literally impossible to not make the rich richer. So all this mega fraud just ends up back in the hands of ultra rich people. I remember this during the COVID stimulus. Remember when he gave everyone $2,000?
God, yeah.
He gave everyone $2,000. And everyone's like, wow, that helps the poor. Doesn't help the poor, helps the rich.
Yeah, spend it on goes right back up.
Of course, they all spend it on Amazon.
Yeah.
And if they don't spend it and they save it in the bank, well, it just inflates to zero. So what poor person still has their COVID check? Nobody. And if you would have bought stocks with it to invest it, well, that helps the company you're buying stocks for. Who owns companies?
Yeah.
Rich people. I mean, maybe you could have saved up. You have $2,000. You could have found 100 other people with $2,000, had $200,000 and bought a house that you own 1/100th of. But even then you've increased house prices on the street. And who owns the houses? Rich people. So like the money is going to go to the rich no matter what. So the basic premise is that the rich people have political power one way or another. Poor people don't have political power. And that if you print shitloads of money, in the end, it ends up going back to the rich. So let's just continue to print loads of money, fuck everything up, and just steal. If you print a bunch of money, the price of houses go up. It inflates house prices. Who owns all the expensive houses? Rich. So it's like the rich people are invested in the idea of f***ing everything up for their own personal gain.
What system do you think works then? Because this one clearly doesn't.
Absolutely. And that's the really good question. And you study the fall of empires, it turns out that no system works for very long. All the systems are fantastic for a short period of time. You have a king and he's in charge and he does a fantastic job of building a city. Like you have a supreme ruler, for example, like Dubai. He built the whole place. It's incredible. And he said himself, my dad rode a camel. I built this city. My son drives a Ferrari and my grandson will ride a camel. Because he knows that in the end, it's going to collapse because you have a king.
That's a quote. He said that.
That's what he said that.
Interesting.
Because he knows you have a king. He does a great job. And then he has a son. And his son is raised a little bit nicer than the king. You know, he had a nicer life. And he does his best. And then a grandson comes. And a grandson comes. Eventually, you end up with some idiot who fucks it up. And when this idiot's fucking it up, all the people say, you're not as good as the old king. We want to choose our own leader. So we want democracy. We don't want to have a king. We want to choose who we have. So then there's a revolution. And democracy comes and we vote someone in and that person has the best intentions for the country. And then the next person comes. And over time, that becomes corrupted bullshit too. And now we want, what do we want now at the end of our bullshit democracy? If you were to say to me right now, make Trump forever king with absolute power who didn't have to obey judges, I'd say, yes, so do it. Make Trump king. Fuck off these judges, fuck off the Senate, let him with a piece of paper and a pen just write down everything that happens and everyone listen. We'd fix the country in a day. So now we want a kingdom back. Then what? Trump goes, and then his son is good, and grandson's good, then eventually it fucks up again. So no system works for very long. It's the cycle of empires, you know? So what can you do? But we're certainly at the end of democracy. And the reason I know we're at the end of the democratic system here in America is because there are some very key indicators which we've reached.
Yeah.
The first is the endless, insane inflation. The second is the absolute lack of representation in democracy. The whole point of democracy is that you're represented.
Yeah.
And none of our senators or governors give a fuck what we say. Like they'll literally lie to your face to get in. I won't raise taxes. I won't raise taxes. And just go raise them. Right in front. They'll commit fraud right in front of you.
Yeah.
So, and even more importantly, we're at the end of the limits of law. Law is stretched as far as it possibly can do. Our police, our judges, our bail system, our entire legal system is stretched to the absolute limit. It's like pulling a Band-Aid or pulling a rubber band to the point it's going to snap. We can't handle any more arrests, any more court cases, any more bails. We're at the limit of law. What comes after that? When law breaks? Well, anarchy.
Yeah.
You know, and crime ain't going down. It's going one way, and we're already at the limit. Like, it's crazy. And then you have the mass psyop of the population to the point where some retard wants to try and run over an ICE officer and get mag dumped. You know, like you're dummies, bro. Like everything's so it's really interesting. So democracy is going to fall and we'll have to see what comes next. It might be the AI revolution. But right now, the countries that are doing best in the world aren't democracies. I live in the UAE where there's an absolute ruler. And on top of the taxis, there are little AI cameras. And if any rubbish is found on the floor, it reports it to a central server and they go and pick up the rubbish in real time. So if someone was stupid enough to go and fly tip and drop a bag of rubbish somewhere, or like California around LA where you see like boxes, and a taxi will just drive past it and it will tell a central station and they'll go and they'll pick it up instantly. That's why the place is so clean. Or the leader can walk around. If he sees a hole in the road and says, fix it, it's fixed same day, instantly it's fixed. Because he said so. There's no committee. There's no Senate. Just fix it. We need a new highway. Build a new highway. We'll build a new highway. He said,
yeah, I went to Dubai. I really enjoyed it.
I mean, it's not a perfect place, but if you want safety and you want security and you want 0% taxes, they built all of this with no taxes. Like, it's pretty hard to beat for those things. It's not a perfect place, but for the things it's good at, it's good at.
Right.
You know, so it's like you don't pay tax and you get absolute safety and security and you get world-class services and you get your children and their mothers can walk around at 3 a.m. by themselves and you can wear $1 million watch and you don't need bodyguards. It's crazy how they pulled it off. It's remarkable. And they've done all of it with no taxes. And they asked the sheikh about it. They said, how did you do it? You know, and he said, look, democracy doesn't work. Democracy is designed to give a false representation. He goes, I represent my people. I actually try and help them win. If you disagree with how I'm doing things because you can't tell me what to do because there's no democracy, then you can leave. But if you want what I'm giving, I'm going to keep giving it to you. And I'll admit that although we have world-class services, we have world-class medical care, We have world-class housing. We have world-class safety, world-class security, the best schools in the world. We have all of that, but we don't have elections. So if you want an election, you can go to America, because in America, they have elections. But we can't give you an election. All we can give you is the best in the world at everything else. But if you want an election, go there. If you want construction and you want to win, stay here. And it's like, America, all we talk about is election, 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 election.
Yeah.
Why don't we talk about fixing some of the fucked up stuff?
It seems like all we really need to fix, not all, this is going to try to make it sound like it's a small task, but it's just the just absolute waste of money. But it's like that's talking about fixing people who are just greedy, and you can't fix people.
Yeah. If we could fix the absolute waste of money, then America would have so much in cash. It'd be ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people don't even anticipate how deadly corruption is to productivity, because most people have never thought of it this way. So I'll give a very simple thought experiment. If every single time, like, you have a gym and you make money with your gym, but if every single time one of your employees did a task that you needed them to do for the gym to run, it cost you money. Like, if every single time an employee unracked some weights or folded a towel, if every single time they folded a towel, they stole from the till. If every single time they unracked weights, they stole a little bit of money from the till. If every single time they stacked the drinks, they stole a little money from the till, you're gonna go broke.
Yeah.
You simply can't run your business if every time people who have a job to do for a wage steal on top of it every time they do any task. That's why corruption is so deadly, because at every level, at every stage, some get stolen, and so many people are involved. That's why the numbers are so astronomical. How do you steal so many billion? Easy, because thousands of people are stealing.
It's so crazy because you see these politicians, like, salaries is like 200,000, but they have like 50 million in the bank.
And nobody asks why.
Like, that in of itself.
But where's
should
the
be like,
indictment?
Right.
Where's the indictment?
Right.
Like,
that's the frustrating part. I see it. I'm like, why are we not sending the FBI?
Yeah, you earn $200,000 a year. You've never agreed to have any other job. You've never said you've had any other job. You've never declared anything else. And you have 50 million stock. Where's the indictment?
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. And then they all have these legal ways to steal. Like, oh, I was paid $25 million for a book that I didn't write. You know, it's bull. It's all just stolen money. And they have these bullshit paper trails to, like, back up their story. But I can tell you from my perspective, it's kind of amazing to me. I really think at my income, I'm one of the only people with, like, a job or a business. When I speak to other people who make the kind of money I make, like in the Bugatti garage, or I bought a yacht recently in Turkey and I'm in the yacht yard, or when I'm buying jets or any of these things, I ask people, so what do you do? And no one has a business. I have a very simple business. I have an online school, the largest online school in the world. We have professors that teach people how to make money online. You can join, you pay a subscription, and we'll teach you how to make money online. It generates hundreds of millions of dollars a year. That's my school, university.com, the largest online school in the world. A simple business model that everyone can understand. I ask other people who make all this money what they do, and they just, like, work for an NGO, or they're like some contract from some government, like the Turkish government. I have a contract with the Turkish government. I'm like, how are you buying a $28 million yacht? Like, everyone's just stealing.
Yeah.
Everyone at the top is only stealing. I'm the only dickhead who earned his way there. Everyone else I speak to is just like, yeah, I have a cherry. I'm like, a cherry? You're buying a boat, bro.
Would you steal if you could?
I think that's a really good question. And I think that if I'm honest, it has to be yes, surely, doesn't it? I mean, honestly, if you're in that position and everyone else is, and if you tell the truth, you either lose your status or just get shot in the head. I mean, I'd love to believe that I'm too moral to. I'd love to believe that perhaps I'm too moral to ever end up in that position, because you probably have to do, I doubt they're going to take you from zero and allow you to steal millions. You're going to have to do a lot of things along the way, which are immoral to end up there. So I don't think I'd ever end up there, because I'm not a piece of person. But if you're a piece of and you end up there, and here's the thing that's so crazy. We often confuse capability with morality. Are the people who steal $100 million from the government any worse than the man who steals a drink from the store? I mean, morally, it's the same. It's just the guy who steals the drink from the store doesn't have access to anything else. Capability and morality, they're different things. If you have the ability to do something, and it's larger than the guy who has the ability to do it at a lesser extent, but you're both doing it, well, then you're both the same. Like, everyone steals like chewing gum. Everyone steals stupid, but you don't have the chance to steal 100 mil.
I guess you can't rationalize the effect of it, though, because the effect is obviously greater.
But is it? because it's all printed money and it's from the sky and they'll print more. I mean, that's how they rationalize it. They rationalize it as this doesn't even exist. This is just printed, that's made up, and I can take it, and everyone else is taking it, and it's made up, and it's not 1% of the month's printed money anyway.
Yes, but the money that the other guys steal might be from like a mom and pop store that actually affecting.
Well, exactly. So you could argue in some ways that the mom and pop store theft is worse.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, than the guy who just goes, I just typed it in. Nothing happened. I typed some numbers. If you could type some numbers, I'd type some numbers.
But then also the person stealing the hundreds of millions is just adding to this nasty situation which we call life.
Absolutely.
So-
It's totally like the American system's totally. And then the number one thing that everybody across the board, bipartisan on both sides of the political spectrum, should have been behind is Doge. Who the wants to be stolen from?
Yeah.
Surely everyone wants Elon in there to fix it. But then the Dems are losing their mind trying to stop it. Why? Well, I'll tell you why. Because the Democrats steal. The entire apparatus, the entire machine behind the Democrats is based on stealing. And I can prove that because Kamala Harris asked for that retard, Tim Walz, to be her vice president. Why would you want a retard no one's heard of who's clearly stupid to be your VP? Well, it's because he's from Minnesota, and Minnesota is stealing all this money for the daycares. And then she raised the most money in history of any political campaign ever in only 100 days when no one even liked her. Because she took all the stolen money.
But do you think it has to do with the daycare specifically, or is just...
I think there's a lot of fraud going through that state. So she got that dipshit in her campaign so she could take 107 million or whatever it was, 1.2 billion she got for that campaign. And now she just bought a $10 million house after losing. And where the all the money gone? How did she spend $1 billion being retarded on like 3 interviews? She spent $1 billion on her campaign. $1 billion. She did 3 podcasts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she decided to get a VP that no one's heard of from a state that we now know is riddled with billions in corruption. This is not linked somehow.
I see.
Of course, it's just linked to steal. So, yeah, the whole system is so absolutely corrupted the entire way through. But these people rationalize it by sitting there going, oh, yeah, it doesn't matter. It's only this much. It's that much. But I don't know what the answer to it is. But Doge, why don't the Democrats want Doge? Because the Democrats are stealing all the time. They're stealing as much as possible. That's why Elon's seen as a threat. So how do they psyop the common man into hating them? Well, simply, most people are stupid. They can adjust the algo. They can adjust the news. And they can also pay NGOs to find retarded protesters. None of these protests are even organic. Remember all the protests outside Tesla dealerships? They're all getting paid to go.
Yeah,
Who's
paying
paying
like
for
spray
them?
painting the stuff?
Who's
yeah.
paying for them? An NGO. An NGO, a non-government organization, some charity. Stop hate. Who's funding the charity? Some mystery donor who got his money from a Somali daycare. It's just a circle, bro.
Yeah.
It's just a circle. Anything to stop Elon. And somehow we managed to get the world's richest man, one of the world's smartest men, who was trying to stop everyone from getting stolen from. We got him to give up.
Yeah, or forced out.
I mean, talk about disheartening.
Yeah.
Like, even he's like, oh, okay, I'll just build cars. Like, if he can't fix it, who the can? Like, it is wrecked.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
So what do? You teach our kid karate.
Teach him kung fu.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right. Well, you have to prepare him for a very difficult life. I mean, what can you do? You have to prepare him, and you have to, prepare yourself. I think the world's going to be a completely different place in less than 50 years. I can guess what's going to happen, but of course I don't know. I think that the Venezuela operation was actually extremely important, and I think that it restored American soft power. America plays poker, and America's primary objective is bluffing. When you play poker, you don't always have a good hand. You need to bluff, and people only fear your bluff if when they finally call you, you eventually have pocket aces. And the Venezuela operation gave America its bluffing ability back now. We just got what we wanted out of Greenland. We didn't have to shoot any bullets. Trump just said, I'm going to take it. Before Venezuela, when he was talking about Greenland, no one cared. But after Venezuela, everyone started instantly pissing their pants because they're like, he's actually going to do it. This madman's actually going to take the whole continent.
Do you think the U.S. is going to actually take Greenland
They've done a deal.
already?
Denmark agreed today to give America large percentages of the land fully owned. So I don't think I don't think he wanted the whole thing. I think it's art of the deal. He asked for too much to get what he really wanted.
Mm.
And he got it. And it cost him nothing. All for free. Give me it. So American soft power is restored.
Stole that.
Real.
Yeah.
Trump is the ultimate G. Trump is the ultimate G, bro. It's the ultimate G. But I think American soft power is restored, which is really important for the hegemony of America. But truthfully, I think in the next 50 to 60 years, Europe's going to collapse. America's going to continue to Brazilify in regards to the fact that there's really rich areas and really areas.
Sort of like India.
Yeah, there's going to be gates around everything. It's going to get really, it's halfway there. You know, it's going to get out of control. And I think that Middle East is the new Europe. I think the nicest countries to live in are going to be Saudi, UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain. All these countries are already very safe, very beautiful. I mean, it's hot, it's the desert, but you know, you want to get stabbed and give away half your money to the government, or do you want to keep all your money and not get stabbed? Like, they're going to attract more and more people. And I think that the Middle East is the new Europe. And then the new global hegemony, I don't know. We're going to see what happens if China can pull it off, because they have a different mentality to the Americans. But for now, America's still in charge, and that's what I want. I love America. I want America to win. I'm not anti-American. The world is a better place with America in charge, but it's just being eaten from the inside out by parasites, bro.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. It's just parasites.
One more question. This is sort of on the political thing. What's your take on the crazy rise of Nick Fuentes?
Nick is funny.
Very funny. Yeah.
And that's his shield. I know this because I've used it to save myself. He can say things that others can't say because he's funny. The reason other people who are sitting up talking anti-Semitic either get ignored or wrecked, and he doesn't, is because he's funny. And humor is an extremely important weapon if you want to say things which are controversial. Yeah. If you can make people laugh while you're saying it, somehow you just get away with it. Saved me. So he does the same thing. He's also very well read. He's very educated. He knows a lot. Whenever anyone asks me about like the details of the Jewish question, I always say, just ask Nick. Guys, I'm busy. I haven't read this shit. Ask Nick. He can tell you the senator, the contract. Nick knows. I don't know. Ask Nick. I don't know. But, you know, he's worked for a very long time. They say it only takes, 10 years to build an overnight success. He's been around for a very long time. He's been doing this for a very long time. He's paid the price for doing it. And he deserves all the fame he has. I think that, I don't agree with him with everything he says. There's actually some things he says I strongly disagree with him on. Yeah. Like, I love Candace. He doesn't like Candace. I think Candace is a legend. I love her. Yeah. But I'm not emotional. Like, who gives a like, I like Nick. I like what he says. I like his message. And I don't think it's a coincidence. I think he's worked really hard to end up where he is. And there's a degree of providence in all things. And perhaps my shifting of the Overton window with some less controversial topics allowed his controversial topics to come. He may have taken over from me. I hope in many ways he has. I just hope he doesn't get in trouble for it like I did. I hope that, pass the torch, and I hope he gets away with it, truthfully.
Do you think someone like Nick Fuentes could become president? I'd say the best for last.
It's a really good question. I think someone like Nick Fuentes is perhaps too principled to become president, because if you become president, you need to understand that you're not going to get what you want in any regard, and it's just endless bullshit compromise. Trump doesn't get to do 100% of what he wants. If he wants to do 10 things, he gets to do 5% of each one at best. And it's just hard to compromise on that level. If you're truly, truly militant in what you believe, you're never going to have real power. And that's the thing that's most frustrating about power, is that when you get it, even if you have these grand intentions, the only way you can keep it or actually get anything done at all is to massively reduce your intentions. It sucks, So Nick would have to make a whole bunch of compromises to get power. And if he did that, his fans would turn on him. We've seen that recently with people who talk a game and say they're going to do certain things, and they get power, and then they realize it doesn't work that way, and then they have to go back and say it doesn't work that way. Yeah. Because, I understand enough about the world, and I've kept this podcast lighthearted. We can do another one where I'm a lot more serious, but what is power? Like, power is just an office and a pen and a piece of paper. It's not real. Like, you're in an office and you have a piece of paper and a pen, and you can use that piece of paper and a pen to make men with guns go places. That's all it really is. And there's people in other rooms with pieces of paper and pens who can stop those men with guns going places. So you imagine, like, he's the director of this agriculture. He can't make plants grow. He can't make the sun shine. He's not God. He can't make it rain. He's got a pen and a piece of paper. And when you actually are ever in a position of power and you start trying to use that pen and piece of paper, you'll realize it doesn't work. Nothing happens. It's not magic. It's like you writing down your intentions for the morning. It's like you writing down your, what's the word I'm looking for? The thing, you remember them, you say them over
Affirmations.
and over. That's right. It's like writing down your affirmations. It may come true later and it may happen quicker if you keep writing it down. But it's kind of like the system is so big, the bureaucracy is so slow. There are so many things in the way that can prevent that law from coming true. There's other people with other pieces of paper. There's people who refuse to obey. There's people who don't openly refuse to obey. They just ignore it. There's so much going on with the human element of all of these things, and you've just written on a piece of paper. It's very, very hard to get everybody to instantly comply unless you rule with absolute fear. That's why COVID they could do very quickly because everyone was afraid. Yeah. That's why MBS in Saudi can bark an order and they'll listen. That's why Xi can bark an order and they'll listen because everyone's afraid. But no one's afraid of Trump. Like Trump can't chop your head off. Trump can't say, F the courts, put him in jail for life. He can't do it.
Yeah.
So when everyone's writing on these pieces of paper, everyone's kind of like, yeah.
Bureaucracy.
Yeah. Who gives a f? Right? So that's why you'll notice that the American government seems so much more interested in other countries outside of America than in America. Because outside of America, they can take decisive action. Get the Blackhawks, let's go. Inside of America, they can't really actually even do anything. If you were to go to Newsom right now and say, fix this road. This road is broken. Fix it as fast as you can. Like you have $100 million and every day it takes to fix it, money disappears. Let's motivate you. Get this done. He'd write on a piece of paper and call a guy and they'd send a piece of paper and that guy would go to the committee to get the state funding and write on a piece of paper and the guys would sit around. Take for nothing. It's just bullshit.
Yeah.
Send a dude with the brush to sweep it up and fix like in Dubai. It takes 2 minutes. The whole system's so
everyone's got to make sure they get their pet.
Everyone's getting money along the whole way. Yeah. Everyone's getting corruption the whole way. Everyone who sends a piece of paper wants some money for it. Just like the gym, folding towels. So the thing gets wrecked. So before you know it, it costs $10 billion to fix a little road. So none of these people in power have power.
Or to build an invisible train between LA and San Francisco.
That costs billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and billions because they had to make sure that the train wasn't going to hurt the frogs. So you had to go to the frog company to check on all the frogs in the entire area. And that cost $2 billion. And the frog owner is the brother of the guy who's in charge. It's bull.
So stupid.
Yeah, it's right.
Yeah.
So the people who are in charge of all of these things, what's actually most scary is that they don't have any power. So who actually really has power? And if you were to ask me, the answer to that is twofold. One, it's the transnational capital, which is the first thing. I mean, the fact that BlackRock and Vanguard want to own all the land in Ukraine, and they've managed to convince governments to keep sending all their weapons over there so that the war can continue, so that Russia doesn't win. Because if Russia wins all that land, then Vanguard and BlackRock don't get it.
Right.
So how have we convinced all these governments to keep throwing their money away in Ukraine? Well, Vanguard and BlackRock clearly have a way to convince people. Clearly. Yeah. So they have all the money, but the other people who have all the control in the world are the people with the guns. It's all just guns, bro. At the top and at the bottom, it's the same. It's the same with the street gang, which is the most powerful street gang, who has the most guns.
Yeah.
It's the same at the top, who has the most guns. So it's whoever can write the piece of paper that will get the most people with the most guns.
And who's willing to elicit the most violence.
That's right. Who's the most ruthless. Yeah. And that's why the liberals win, because they're more ruthless. In the end, because they're ideologically aligned with their ideals to the point where they believe people should die if they disagree, they're always going to be more ruthless than a Republican is. Republicans are a lot more logical.
Yeah.
Logic doesn't win when you're fighting with a savage. And here we are with the best president in history, 1 year in. Have we really destroyed the Democrat raw? No. They're gearing up, bro.
Yeah.
It's going to come back with a vengeance. And it's going to be bad when they get power again. It's going to be bad.
Well, time will tell, dude. It's been a pleasure. I appreciate your time.
Thanks,
I hope we can do it again.
For sure.
Every Tuesday, I love you guys. Subscribe to the channel. That was awesome, man.
You're the man,
Thank
bro.
you so much.
You're the man.
Yeah, cool.
Good to see you.